Are you looking for a high-quality education provider? Are you looking for an educational institution that is 100% focused on Black history? Well, you have come to the right place. At AE Learning, we provide exceptional African history education, training, resources and courses to an international customer base. At AE Learning, our e-learning courses deliver high-quality content and support teachers and students alike, ensuring that they have what they need to achieve their learning goals. Go to aelearning.net to select from our comprehensive library of multimedia e-learning courses. Our courses come complete with tutorials from our African history teachers. Within our e-learning courses, you will also benefit from high-quality videos to assist in your learning. Throughout our courses, quizzes and examinations are provided so you can test your knowledge. A generous library of downloadable resources complements your learning, and in addition, there are materials to read through. Go to aelearning.net to learn more. AE Learning, your source for quality African history education.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Do me a favor, hit that like button, and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Before we get started, got a couple of announcements. Sierra Leone citizenship is back in Sierra Leone. It was on a 1-year hiatus last year, but it's back on. A couple rule changes, though. You have to go twice now, and you have to wait a year between each visit. So the first visit is like getting acclimated to the country, which you'll go on a tour. Then the following visit, that's when you get your passport. So every April and December are going to be the swearing-in ceremonies. So you come in April, like I got a group going next week. You come in April, you receive your passports the following April. You come in December, you receive your passports the following December. And also now they're accepting more DNA test providers. So originally it was just African Ancestry. Now it's African Ancestry, Ancestral.com, 23andMe, and another company called CRI. But 23andMe is going to be interesting because they've gone bankrupt. So the current 23andMe, results are fine, but as far as future results, I mean, they went bankrupt. So I don't know if they're going to replace 23andMe with another DNA company. We don't know yet. So with that being said, citizenship is back on in Sierra Leone. So please visit donfo.africa. Again, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. Let's see here. We are also going to Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival, Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Where else are we going? Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue, Namibia and South Africa. So a 2-for-1 in November for Amapiano and Dunes. And then we are going back to Sierra Leone in December. And the great news is the people who came with me this past November, they're going to be receiving their passports in December. So yeah. So that's what's going on, you guys. So visit donfo.africa. That's DANFO.Africa. Please visit donfo.africa. That's DANFO.Africa to learn more. And also, while you're at donfo.africa, that documentary link on the top of the page, click on that link and get the documentary. Okay, click on the link and get the documentary. And special shout out to our new sponsor, African History e-learning. African History e-learning. The commercial was on. You guys didn't check out the commercial. Rewind back, check out the commercial, and check them out. And guys, hit that like button. Again, please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. All right, tonight's topic. We don't fight. I'm sorry. We fight. We don't flee. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? We fight. We don't flee. Ashada Shakur. Is it Ashada Shakur? Is that her name? She went to Cuba. You mentioned Black Panthers. The other brother, in fact, there's a documentary on him. It's called Panther in the Jungle, I think. He's in Tanzania. Daniel O'Neill, Pete O'Neill. There we go, Pete O'Neill. So again, what is this? We fight, we don't flee. What does that mean? Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, they've always been, and I don't want to use the word fleeing. I don't want to use the word fleeing. I'm going to say migrating. Not only do African immigrants migrate to America, but you have a number of Black Americans, or what you consider ADOS, who have migrated outside of the country. Many went to Europe. In fact, guys, what's the civil rights leader that went to France? Always smoked the cigarettes. Help me out, somebody. Help me out, guys. Who's the guy that smoked the cigarettes that went to France? James Baldwin. Thank you, James Baldwin. James Baldwin's another one. Did he flee? W. Du Bois went to Ghana. Is he considered a fleer? Pete O'Neill, number of the Black Panthers. And I'll say this, if for some reason, ADOS FBA, they don't want to claim Liberia, but the freed slaves that decided, took the initiative. Josephine Baker, is she considered a fleer? Tina Turner, is she considered a fleer? Eldridge Cleaver. I don't think Kwame Ture is. Kwame Ture, is he a Black American? I thought he's from like the islands. Or am I wrong? Or am I wrong? Somebody said Paul Robeson. Oh, so are we moving the goalposts now? Are we saying fleeing in large numbers? Is that Ashada Shakur? Right. Somebody said fleeing in large numbers, so we're moving the goalposts now. But the greatest achievement of Black America, Liberia, in which descendants, or I'm sorry, not descendants, free black slaves decided that they were going to take their own destiny into control in their own hands. They left America for Liberia. Will they be considered fleers? Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad. Are they considered fleers? So I'm trying to understand is we fight, we don't flee. As if other groups of people didn't fight. I think this whole we fight, we don't flee. I want to say people. I want to say they came up with this slogan, but did she help some people leave the U.S. or was that a lie? I thought the Underground Railroad they went to Canada. Am I right or wrong? Or am I wrong? I thought they yeah they went to Canada, right? If you want to throw this in the mix, we can say the Black Loyalists that went to Nova Scotia and then founded like Sierra Leone. So yeah, I mean it's just this we fight, we don't flee is very very interesting. I think it's due because here in America, people don't have an understanding or an idea of what is out there outside of America. I don't think it really has to do with just the fight. We're gonna fight. I just think it has to do with the way many of us have been programmed when it comes to what's outside of America. That's my opinion. Many of us don't have passports. Many of us haven't left our immediate communities or cities. Many of us have never been on an airplane. So that's my opinion. That's my opinion. If you ask me, I think it has more to do with we aren't very aware on what really is outside of America. But yeah, we went to Mexico, Liberia, Cuba, Haiti, the Caribbean. Many have left. Many have left. But yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. You know, if you guys want to break down, you know, we fight, we don't flee. And but in this fighting though, if you listen to Claude Anderson, we lost so much. With this fight, we lost so much. Again, I still don't understand the sit-ins where I guess we had to just eat Karen's chicken salad sandwich because Keisha's chicken salad sandwich, I guess, wasn't good enough. So in this fight, in you know, integration, we lost so much. Now, I would say this, and Will made a great point yesterday, and my mom brought this up when it came to my grandma. My grandmother had a twin. Her twin passed away, and it was because they didn't have access because the hospitals were segregated at the time. They didn't have access to good health care. So I understand that part. But the Woolworths part, I don't understand. I don't. You'll never get me to understand that part. So again, when we say we fight, we don't flee. During this fight, we settled and we surrendered so much. just so we could get our wars. When we had everything, we had our own. So that's why it is we fight, we don't flee. I don't know. Speaker of truth, go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on? I think when it comes to the question of fleeing, I'm glad you brought this up because obviously people like Kwame Ture, he fled, and people don't like bringing that up. And that's a Caribbean of East Indian, I don't want to say admixture, but East Indian activity going on in him. So why did he flee? Actually, he fled, you want to be real, he fled twice. Once to get to the United States, and then the next time to Africa.
Would you consider Ashada Shakur a fleer?
No, she's taking refuge.
What's the difference between refuge and fleeing?
There's some issues going on for her, so she has to take refuge.
What about James Baldwin? Would you consider him a fleer?
Where did he flee to?
France.
Oh well, that is France is that type of country for his type of people. So
well, America obviously is too.
Now, but not so much back then. But
what about like Josephine Baker?
Now I'll say the circumstances of the racial strife at the times, she might as well have fled. Obviously, France treated her better. She's a national hero in France,
All right. What about Pete O'Neill?
I don't know who that is.
Black Panther.
Oh, well, that's different with the Black Panthers because sometimes they got to take refuge.
What about W. Du Bois?
He was a part of the system, but maybe he fled because he just said, you know what? I realize it's a scam after he was already old and did everything he had to do. Now, when you mentioned Tina Turner,
that's another one.
I can actually excuse what she did because, she did catch hell here. So she had to go and check something else out. Now, when it comes to these Caribbeans and all these Africans, even
okay, what about the Black Americans who went and founded Liberia?
That was something that was done by the U.S. government, not by the Black Americans themselves.
No, that was done by Black Americans.
No, that was done by the U.S. government. Who took the land? Slaves?
Well, there were treaties, but I mean, it was a dumping ground for freed slaves. The Liberian
dumping ground by the U.S. government. So they did it. Slaves didn't do it. But we have to understand that the few names that you can name, probably, the truth be told, I don't even think you guys can come up with 100 Black Americans. But even if you did, even if you came up with 2,000, that's nothing compared to the multitudes of Africans from every African country who keeps coming here on a daily basis.
Speaker of truth, do you travel outside the country?
I'll be honest with you, only Canada.
Okay, so you do have a passport.
Well, not anymore. No.
Why don't you have a passport?
Because I'm not traveling that often. That's why.
Okay, I just think the reason why I just think as a collective, Black FBA ADOS have no clue what's going on outside of America.
But see, the beauty of it is we live in America, so we know what's going on outside. We got an idea because all the people keep coming here, especially if you live in cities like New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, and a few others. Then you know that these people are breaking their necks traveling here. And there's also a hierarchy of success divvied out between different nationalities and races by the white man, of course.
Tens of thousands of African Americans fled the South, fled Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, to go to the West Coast. Tens of thousands. They fled.
But that's like saying you fled one neighborhood to the other neighborhood. That's not fleeing.
No,
that's
we didn't leave. It was not a piece of cake. I mean, it was still racism, but it wasn't as bad as Jim Crow South. So no, it wasn't the same neighborhood. We left for a better quality of life. We fled.
It's the same country, so it's not like you're going to China and trying to start.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Actually, it does. It does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't because the reason it doesn't is because it is a migration. It's like immigrants migrate.
Okay, yeah, that's a good word,
We
migration.
right. We migrated. That's what immigrants do. The word immigrant and migration is connected. Immigrants migrated to the United States. We migrated to the South and the North. And
Immigrants. See, this is what the immigrants said.
that's what you're saying they did. They're fleeing to
But
get a
here's
better
what.
life.
But
We
here's what.
fled
No,
to get
no,
a
no,
better
no.
life too.
That's what you said. Now, immigrants did this. They said, "To hell with my country. My country sucks. I'm going to somebody else's country, and I'm gonna contribute my whole life to making that country happen. And the hell with my country. My country is a piece of crap. They can say a piece of crap. They come here to become doctors, engineers, and instead of going back to their countries and making it happen and building it up, like the Japanese did, they'd rather come here, get the automobiles, get the homes, get the white women, and feel good about themselves in that way. Help the white man out.
You see the white women?
Yeah, that comes with it.
Many of them, I would bet many of them know that Exxon or Standard Oil is the oil company that is extracting oil from their country, and they know that. And if they were able to get an idea of the amount of wealth that Standard or these oil companies or mining companies are getting out of their country, they would know that all the wealth is leaving their countries. And if their country is not making the money, they know also too that the government is corrupt. It's not only corrupt on a micro level, it's corrupt on the macro level. So they know all the wealth from their country is leaving and going to the United States. They're being exploited by their leadership, who are puppets. And they're like, well, we're gonna die if we don't move here and get a better life, a better health. We could perish here. This is desperation. So they leave their countries because the United States and Europe has fucked their countries up, and they're going to try to make a better life for themselves and their family.
All right, but check this out. Why not move mainly to Canada? Why not move to India, China, Japan, or another African country instead of using another African country just to get to Europe?
No, some of them do move to Canada. Some of them do move to France or Great Britain.
No.
It's
I
just
said
not.
I said another African country
No,
or
I'm talking about
India.
South. I'm talking
Or
about immigrants in South America. I'm talking about immigrants even in Africa.
but I'm asking, how come these Africans don't move to Japan, India, China?
Most
Some of
African
them do.
migration is
No.
within the continent. It's not outside of the continent.
Okay, where do they move to? Because apparently South Africa, they're not too inviting.
You have Kenyans you have Sudanese who move to Kenya. You have people in Chad who go to Mali, who go to Ghana, who go to Nigeria. Most African migration is within the continent.
But that's usually as a result of war, fleeing
It
from
doesn't
war.
matter what it's a result of.
Actually,
You
yeah,
asked
because
the question.
that means it's
Your
forced.
question was, why don't they go to an
That means
African country? And I answered your question for you.
Well, if that's the case, answer this: how come they don't go to India, China, Japan, or Vietnam?
Some of them go to places like Japan and to places that you mentioned, but they're not going to
Yeah,
go somewhere that is at the same level of
in the
their
same
country.
economic standing as
But
they
see,
are.
that's not what I asked. I asked, why don't they go there?
They do
They
go to
do. They
Japan.
do,
There
bro.
are
They do.
Africans in India.
There are
They in
Africans in
China,
Japan
bro.
too.
They in
No,
China too, bro.
they usually go there for school, but how come they don't go there to live and migrate and stay there
Because
permanently?
I'm not familiar with
They
the
do,
policies as
bro.
far as migration.
They
You have many
do.
Indians who are leaving
They do,
because there's
bro.
economic deprivation. So if you live in a economically deprived country, why would you go to another economically deprived country
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
have
India is not
opportunity to go
exactly the top
elsewhere?
dog. India
You
is not
got
exactly the top dog.
Nigerians everywhere. You got Nigerians in South Korea. You got Nigerians in Japan. You got Nigerians everywhere in the world. What you talking about?
And
Okay,
this is the problem with people who don't research and don't travel. It's just like these incel folks. They sit online and then they create this world that doesn't really exist, and they're
well,
not
that's how
tuned
Pan
in or
Africans are too.
tapped
They
into the
create
actual
they create
world
a
No,
world that
and
let her
doesn't
how the
talk.
world
exist.
actually works.
Let her talk, cause I'm trying to get in next. Go ahead,
What do you
Chrissy,
mean?
please.
Oh, you interrupted my flow.
That's all I have to say.
Hold on,
Okay,
but
so what are you
let
talking
me
about?
okay, so speaker of truth, what's the fight part? You said we fight, we don't flee. What's the fight part?
And I guess you get that from Tariq Nasheed. He kind of makes things up a little bit as he goes along. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I
Like
like being honest.
FBA.
We can't flee if we wanted to. Truth be told.
Go ahead, expand on that. Go ahead.
So you like that? I'm truthful. That's why I'm speaking the truth. We don't have any place to flee to, so we can't
He's
really
not
flee.
laughing with you.
Well, hold on. Go ahead, speakers. Go ahead.
So, that's the thing. Other immigrants, if they go to a country like India, they get slapped around. They could say after a while, the hell with this, I'm going back to where I come from. Or if they are from, I don't like using that term, sub-Saharan Africa. Well, let's just say they're from Nigeria and then they end up in Algeria, and the Algerians get something from the Europeans and they tell them to send them back. They can go back, So we can't do that. Let's say if we went to Japan and the Japanese said, you know what, we don't like you, get out of here. We got to go back here. We can't go someplace else.
Let me pass it to Pamela. Go ahead, Pamela.
Yes, and I appreciate you passing me the mic. I'll try to keep this brief as possible. Actually, I recommend that U.S. freedmen, those FBAs, I recommend that you do actually move to foreign countries, buy real estate, attempt to get citizenship in these countries. Take a page out of the immigrant's book when they come to the U.S. They come, they buy real estate, they open businesses, they get involved in local politics to create legislation that benefits them. This is something that I, in my heart, believe that U.S. freedmen should do in foreign nations, particularly Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, Southeast Asia, etc. Even right now, while I'm talking to you all, I'm in the Caribbean. I live in the Caribbean right now. So really, we could continue that stance of, yeah, we don't flee. But part of going to other countries is geopolitics. We're expanding our sphere of influence, just like immigrants are doing in the U.S. That's part of the reason I'm never triggered by immigrants that live in the U.S. that talk down on ADOS FBA people, and they say that they have a higher standard of living than us in the U.S. Because when ADOS FBAs, when U.S. freedmen, when we go to the Caribbean, when we go to Africa, when we go to Southeast Asia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when we go to Latin America, we are part of the top 10% in their countries. We have a higher standard of living than them in their own countries of origin. So really, I recommend that. I'm not going to use the word flee, but I do recommend that U.S. freedmen, yeah, expand your horizons. Go to these foreign nations and buy real estate in these foreign countries. Particularly, and I say this as I'm landing my plane, particularly, I recommend the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa. And I also have people that I know that have moved to Southeast Asia as well. But shit, even Europe. But I land my plane with that. Much love.
Who are the ADOS other than a nonprofit that start organization? We 43. They're not even 1% of the population. Combined with the FBA, and who are freedmen? Freedmen is a historical term. Ain't
Bro,
nobody
that's a deflection,
identifying as
brother. That's a
freedmen.
deflection. Let me
So
say this.
there,
Everyone,
there is
everyone,
no there is no ADOS. There is no
everyone in the
FBA.
audience,
There is no
but that's a
freedmen,
deflection.
and there's
Everyone,
even no Negroes.
but
Negroes is a
brother,
term my mom and them used to use. There's no
but brother,
coloreds.
don't miss the point though. When I say ADOS FBA, when I say U.S. freedmen, I'm speaking specifically about descendants of U.S. chattel slaves. If you're
You mean
not one of
African
us,
Americans? Is
if
that what
that's
you're
the
talking
term,
about?
if that's the term you want to use,
No,
you know
that's
what I'm
not the
talking about.
term that I want to use. That's the
Well,
term that most of the 43 million of us use.
let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
Yes, that's the point, brother. No matter, and I don't want to get lost in semantics. That's part of the problem with Black Americans right now. No matter if you choose the term African Americans or ADOS FBA or U.S. freedmen or descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, I'm talking to you. Go to these foreign nations and buy real estate. Do you understand that, brother?
It's not a semantic issue. It is a issue of identity, and
Yes.
most of
Did
the
you understand the
people.
point, though? Did you understand the point?
Yeah, but I'm
All right, so
also
let's move past it. Thank you.
okay. All right. That's fine. You move
All right,
past
guys.
it.
Links in the chat room. Links in the chat room. If you want to call in, please click on a link. Pamela, Kamala Harris is trying to include other minorities into this freedmen group. You understand that, right?
Well, I know she included other minorities in the Freedmen Bank. I did hear
Okay.
that, but not
Okay.
as far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I
still.
got your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
She needs to mind her business and worry about her people.
Mm-hmm. Guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room if you want to call in after the conversation on this Friday evening. You're more than welcome to call in. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It
Well,
was.
oh,
But that I'm sorry, and I'll pass the mic. I know I've been talking a lot. I'll pass the mic after this. Diners, that actually proves my point. Now, Kamala Harris is of Afro-Jamaican and Indo-Jamaican origin, but she's in the U.S. using her political ability to benefit people from her countries of origin. We, as descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, we need to do the same thing. Matter of fact, that's why I gotta salute you. And when I say this, I'm not glazing you up, Dynasty Myth, but I respect you
Pause.
for. I'm not glazing you up, so I don't got to say pause. But I do got to show my respect to you because I respect the fact that you assist descendants of U.S. chattel slaves in getting citizenship in African nations. And really, I think this is essential in expanding the geopolitical power of descendants of U.S. chattel slaves. And I'll pass the
Mi- mi-
mic.
Mr. Mulatto, what's the
I,
what is this thing about this citizenship or dual citizenship? Because I noticed that Tariq Nasheed doesn't like claiming Africa, but yet he says I want dual citizenship. To me, I'm thinking it's because maybe he needs a place to hide out when he gets busted for his scams. That's what I'm thinking. So what
so
is it with you?
Well, I can't speak about Tariq Nasheed. I mean, if you have a question with me, why I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
that's why I said what
so
is it with
who's the
you?
group that Kamala's been? What's her group that she's benefiting? What's the
My,
proof of
my,
that?
my man, my man, my man. I just
God
asked.
damn,
I
Shy.
just hold up. I just asked my man a question, man. I'm waiting
I'll
for the
answer
answer.
both questions brief as possible. I'll answer both questions brief as possible. Now, the reason I think it'll benefit descendants of U.S. chattel slaves and getting citizenship in foreign countries because that gives us the ability to get municipal employment, government jobs, and political positions and become elected officials in these foreign nations. And we can create legislation, create laws that benefit descendants of U.S. chattel slaves that are in these foreign nations that we're speaking about.
Oh, you
Now,
mean the way the East Indians are doing in parts of Africa?
exactly,
What if you're a
exactly.
descendant of
And the
Africans that
British.
came through the slave trade? Would that include Africans that came through that were enslaved in the United States? Would that include them too?
All right, brother Shot, what part are you lost about? Just so we can
No,
have
Yeah,
clarity.
I'm
yeah,
lost
yeah.
about
Hold on,
your.
if I can interject, Shaw, I think you're just playing semantics too much, man. Like
Yeah,
I
really.
completely understand, but I mean, I get it, Shaw, but I just think we're just
I'm
playing.
over. I'm doing it. I'm overdoing it.
You're overdoing it, bro.
You're
That's very
playing dumb,
You're
bro.
But
overdoing
at
it.
least
Shaw, you're overdoing it, man. I'm
at
just
least
being
y'all
honest.
getting the point though, because if you let if Dinus, if you let people continue to misname us because we don't call ourselves FBA, we don't call ourselves freedmen, we don't call ourselves ADOS. So I'm pushing back on it because that's not our name.
I
Our
know,
name is Black
but Shaw,
American, African American. That's our name.
I get what he's saying. Like I get it, but I feel you too, Shaw. But I mean, I
I never
understand.
seen you do that, Donis. I never seen you do that. Cause you know,
Yeah,
I mean, I
big up,
never seen
Dinah.
you do
Big
that.
up, Dinah.
You
Yeah,
know,
really.
these guys are completely unreasonable.
Yeah,
Completely, they up here just
Yeah.
trolling. You know what
because
I'm
of
Because
what
saying?
I said was
people are
very clear.
making up names.
They have no honor, no integrity. They just got weird, desperate. It's like, come on, y'all, move the conversation.
It's
It
like
make
an
y'all movement.
alternate reality.
It make
It's
y'all
like
Pan African movement
we'll
look
be calling
silly.
ourselves something else
Y'all make
in
yourself look
another 10
silly.
years.
And that's why there's never any real conversation around Pan Africanism because it's always trolling. It's always a scam. It's always disingenuous.
Here
Always.
you go. Here you go.
Is it not? You doing it now, and you know you're doing it. Like,
No,
what are we talking about?
I'm just, I don't really want to take the conversation down that rabbit hole anyway. But again, I'm just pushing back on the fact that people got all these names for us, yet the majority of people don't even know these names. They don't
Here's
know
the
what
thing, though.
freedmen's are.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I seen a video today, but I think it was yesterday. The president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, said the 14th Amendment. He doubled down again. This is like his fifth time saying this. He said the 14th Amendment is for the children of slaves. He said that. That's a delineation right there. He know
You're a
how do you
child of
prove?
slaves. I'm not a child of slaves.
Well, we
Then
ain't.
we
It
then
ain't
we're
for
not
you.
talking to you, then, brother.
Yeah,
Simple as
I'm a
that.
child of
it's
We're
really
not
that
talking
Africans.
simple.
about you.
It's really that simple. We ain't talking about you then. But he said
And the
that.
43 million of us.
Well, not including you. So how do you prove that you are a descendant of slaves?
I'm not a descendant of slaves. I'm a descendant of Africans that were enslaved, that came through slavery.
Mm.
They
Was
got
the
a
guy's weird? The guy just weird. I'm a descendant of
no,
Africans that were enslaved. I'm
right.
not a descendant of
That
slaves.
nuance is very
If you're
important.
enslaved, by
Name these
definition, you're a
Africans.
slave.
That's not even a
I
nuance,
agree. I
really.
agree that nuance is important. Because it's always surprising to me to still hear Black people call their ancestors slaves instead of enslaved. When
But you're
you
not
say
our
somebody
people,
is a
so it doesn't
slave, it's
really
like
matter to you.
you strip them of the humanity. It's as if like God created them to be slaves. Like that's like their their
with all
eternal
due respect,
permanent designation
with
versus
all due respect,
people who
with all
had
due
I'm not
respect,
no blah, 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 blah. Let me finish. People who had their own identities, their own culture, that they were, skilled people within their own societies who were there kidnapped and then enslaved. So it's kind of like, it's amazing to me that we do not kind of rehumanize our ancestors who were dehumanized. We continue to use certain language.
Well, how come
Hey,
So I
some
Chrissy,
find
can
that
I
people
ask
might
you?
interesting.
have
So I
all due
agree with you,
respect,
Shah.
ma'am, your
Hey, Chrissy,
some
can I
people
ask you a question?
Jamaican stuff,
My
y'all
bad.
keep
Go
that
ahead,
in the
Bobo.
misinterpreted.
Jamaica or in the Jamaican community. Y'all keep that over there.
I'm
We're
sorry,
talking
say it again.
about, I said that's some Jamaican stuff. You keep that in Jamaica or in the
Yeah,
Jamaican
Is
community.
Shaw
respectfully,
Jamaican?
we're
Shaw,
not
are
even
you
talking
Jamaican?
about
This
y'all.
is this
But
Yes,
is
Chrissy,
keep that with your
No, I'm
people.
not. I'm
it's
African
Okay, so
American.
he said I
American
should keep
culture. Let's tell the
enslaved
truth.
in
It's a part of our
Jamaica, but
culture
you're
to
not
tell the truth.
Jamaican.
what
So
one
Even if
mic at a
it's the
time.
harsh
One
truth,
mic at a time.
even
Go
if
ahead,
it's the
Bobo.
harsh truth, we still got to tell the truth. If you're enslaved, then you're a slave by definition.
Exactly.
Like
And there's
this,
no way
like
around
what's
it.
the cement? I mean, y'all not
that's fine. You are right, but for
Exactly.
me, I rehumanize my ancestors. I don't just call them just slave and just that's what they're. Now, if you
But
want
the
to do
slaves was
whatever
human.
you want with your ancestors, that's y'all
Chrissy,
prerogative.
can I ask you
Yeah,
this?
so
Can
Me
I
why
ask
are you
you
over
this?
trying to
here,
tell people?
the
Why are
I
you
use
trying to
the
tell
term
people otherwise?
enslaved.
Then
But
The
let me
very
ask you a
first
question.
ones were not slaves.
But please,
The
let
first
me
ones
ask
that were brought
Chrissy a
here were
question.
not slaves.
All right, we heard you. Now let me ask Chrissy a question.
well,
When I
actually,
say,
they were because they
all right,
obviously got knocked
and
over the
Chrissy,
head and forced over here.
my God, and Chrissy, when I ask you
Yeah.
this, I'm not trying to box you in. I promise. Now, my
Okay.
question to you is: were the slaves not human?
Yes, there were human beings
All right, so we're speaking about our ancestors that were human beings that were slaves.
that
That's the
were
only point.
enslaved.
So let's not get caught in the
Right. No, these were
semantics.
free people that were
These
captured.
were free people. They were
They,
right who were
and so
enslaved.
that means they were
Right.
slaves, right?
They
Right.
were
No,
enslaved.
they
Yes,
were
that
not
means they
slaves
were
when they were
slaves.
captured and they were brought here. They were not slaves.
Can I ask you
Exactly.
a
Actually, they
question?
were. They were.
these some
No, they were
nasty
not.
people, man.
If I
They
get put
were.
But as
one
I said,
question,
Pan, Mulatto, and Vovo, we all you will do whatever you want with your ancestors. But
of
me and my
course.
ancestors over here,
That's
I
what
have
I
a different
said.
conversation
And
with my
Chrissy, let me
ancestors
ask you
over
And
this.
here.
I said that
Yeah,
y'all,
All right,
y'all Jamaicans.
Chrissy's
Shaw is
ancestors
not
they
Jamaican,
flee.
Tell the
sweet.
truth over here. We
Chrissy's
tell
Shaw
the
is
truth
not
over
ancestors.
here.
Jamaican.
but
My
Chrissy,
ancestors were slaves. I'm
but
not
Chrissy,
embarrassed
Shaw,
by that.
but
That doesn't
Vovo,
scare
it's all
me.
right.
mine
But
were
let me ask Chrissy
enslaved.
this. But
Mines
Chrissy,
were enslaved.
let me move the argument. I mean, the discussion to something that you're less emotionally attached to. If you have a cousin that's put in prison, is he not a prisoner?
He's a person who was imprisoned.
And he
Ah,
was a
boy.
prisoner, correct? And that means that he was a
Imprisoned.
human being that was a prisoner.
He
It
was
But
a
don't
he
mean that he
human being
wasn't a
who was
human.
imprisoned.
And
in
that
prison
means he was a
There's more to
prisoner.
his identity than just
thank
being a
you.
prisoner.
Okay,
Thank you.
now
We're not saying
I
it's
don't
not.
blanket his
We're not saying
Thank
I
it's
you.
don't
not, but he was
blanket
a
his
prisoner.
identity with having been a prisoner. That's what he is, was, always will be. There's no other definition and shape to his life but being a prisoner.
All
Just
right,
an
watch this.
imprisoned
Now,
Right.
now,
person.
now, Chrissy,
You
if you
have
work
to
as a
be in a
mechanic,
prison to be a
simple
prisoner,
question.
not when you're outside of the prison.
And Chrissy, if you work as
Mhm.
a mechanic, are you not a mechanic?
you know what? I got a good question.
No, but don't
Piggy,
let her run from that.
no,
If
no,
you
I'm
work
not.
as a mechanic,
I'm
are
not
you
gonna let
not
her
a
run.
mechanic?
I'm gonna make her fess up. Chrissy, if you played in a movie,
Are you not an actor?
one time, are you a movie star? If you were the star of the movie,
There's more. That's fine. You're for
All
sure. You
right.
can be a movie star, but for me, those
Well,
negative
no,
connotations.
just because
Those
you're
negative
just,
connotations are
just
not
because you said it.
empowering for my ancestors. If you want to say your ancestors were just slaves, had nothing else to them, that's y'all
Right.
business.
When did we say
You
that
and your
though?
ancestor
No,
them
you're
business.
saying that.
But
But
my
Chrissy, when did we say
ancestors,
one
I
mic at a
bring
time?
dignity. I re-dignify my ancestors.
Now,
And I
Chrissy,
remember that they were more than just that specific
exactly.
designation.
Now, Chrissy, when did
You
we
And
do
they
say
what
that?
don't
you want with
dignify
yours,
theirs.
and
Now,
I'll
one
do
mic.
what I want
If
with
you,
mine.
Right.
if
And they
Now,
don't
you,
Chrissy.
dignify theirs by saying that they were slaves.
Now, when did
if
we say
Because
that?
the very first ones were not slaves. They were
Now,
captives and stolen from
they
and
were.
now,
Africa.
Yeah,
all
those
right,
are slaves.
now, when did we
No,
say that?
slaves means you were
My
working.
friend,
You were
as
Hold on,
I
one
slave
said,
mic, please, one
is
mic.
a also something you do. It's not just being a prisoner of war. A prisoner of war is not a
Exactly.
slave.
No, but if they
Now,
were
it's
sold, then
the
they were sold as
status,
No,
slaves.
they're
Then
it's
not
what
a
makes it
status,
slave
so?
though.
hold on.
A
status.
But when
slave
did
is
we
not a
say?
prisoner of war.
Guys,
My God.
one mic, please. Go ahead, Pamela. I'm passing back the
Thank you. I
bubble.
appreciate
Pastor
it.
Roll,
And I'll just say this to Chrissy. When did we say that our ancestors were just slaves?
as I said, whatever designation you and your
I didn't
ancestors
ask you that. I
comfortable
didn't
with,
ask you that. I'm
that's
saying, when did we
fine.
say? I didn't ask you that, Chrissy. I'm saying, when did
That
we say that?
term, there's certain language that box people in and can strip them of their humanity.
All right, but please please
right?
answer my question. When did
and
we say?
history.
When did we say that our ancestors were just slaves? Simple
Well,
question.
you said they're slaves. So there's
We
no
did,
other shape and dimension. They weren't enslaved. They were
hold on.
slaves.
So hold on. If
Right.
I say
And that you descend
but
from
hold on, watch
them.
this. Watch
Yeah,
this.
they were
If I say
slaves.
hold on,
Like
but
you
watch
have no
this.
history before.
Right.
But
They
watch
were
this.
slaves. That's what you
But watch
said.
this.
Yeah.
All right,
That is
And
their
you're
Listen to
story.
his
That is
question.
their
now
beginning and
hold on,
end.
hold
They
on,
were
hold on.
slaves.
Watch this. But watch this. If I say I'm a mechanic, does that mean I'm not also a cook? Checkmate. If I say I'm a
You can be
mechanic,
a
no,
does that
mechanic.
mean
Be
I'm
a,
no,
as
also
I
not
said,
a
no,
welder?
no.
at the end, there's no checkmate, my
These are
dear. As I
weak.
said, I
Yes, it is.
redignify
That's
my
weak.
ancestors.
That's a
Whatever
checkmate.
you and your
That's
That's
weak.
ancestors
checkmate
are
right there.
comfortable with,
No.
That's
God
checkmate right
bless
there.
y'all.
Because we're
You
talking
God
said
about
your
a
bless
ancestors
y'all.
people.
were
We're
enslaved.
talking
I
Me,
about
say
a
mine was
people
I'm
with a
not
also
gonna call
enslaved.
my
history.
ancestors
All right,
slaves. They
y'all.
were enslaved
We gotta
people.
pass
That's
the mic.
me.
Go ahead, Bo. Go
But
ahead,
good luck
Bobo.
to
Go ahead,
you
Bobo.
and
Go ahead,
yours.
Bobo. Go ahead,
Well,
Bobo.
my thing is that you see what she doing well. See what I do is when they start talking like that, these not serious people. They
Exactly.
can't
Oh,
handle losing
Bobo
the
Rants is the
argument.
most serious
They
person on the
can't
panel.
handle losing the argument.
You have a track
This
record of being
nasty
very
woman right here.
serious, Bobo.
She's nasty. She
You are
is
so serious.
completely unreasonable. She is not really serious. She just having an identity crisis. That's all that's about.
Bobo is
That's all that's
serious.
about. That's all that's
Yes,
about.
we
Well,
know.
well,
We know you're
I'm an
very
educator.
serious, Bobo.
I teach for real.
Oh
Like
yes, you teach.
real.
Oh, the teaching boy.
Yeah,
I telling
I
you.
studied. I'm well read.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
know
can tell you're
you
very
just
well
like
read.
white supremacists. Y'all
I
see
can
this
tell
look,
you are so
y'all see
well
these
read.
braids and this beard and this
Mhm.
nappy hair and this dark skin, and you just like the white supremacists. You think, oh, that guy
Me,
got
just like white supremacists, with all the stuff that came out of your
yeah,
mouth.
this guy got to be stupid. But I'm man, I done litigated cases and all kinds of shit.
You litigated cases. You're a landlord and you litigated cases. All right,
I'm
brother.
a land. No,
Take
yeah,
care.
I own my property. I'm sitting in my property right now.
Huh.
So what would you consider
Why
your
All
that's so
right.
ancestry?
hard to believe, though? That's the thing. Like, why that's so hard to believe? Because you racist. You are
I'm
just as
racist.
racist.
Really?
Have you heard?
Chris is
I never
racist,
said
man.
nothing about your complexion.
No, you
I've
Well,
racist,
heard you
Chris.
well,
talk about
if
Africans.
I
I've
was
heard
a
you
white
talk about
man sitting here in
Caribbean
the stool,
people
if I was a white man
like
sitting here in
a
the
real
stool,
white supremacist.
you wouldn't be
You
so
are
condescending
projecting.
about
You are projecting. You talked about
you
your
wouldn't be so
hair. You
condescending
talked
about
about your
my
beard.
resume.
I wasn't thinking about your beard. I can't barely
No,
see your hair because I'm on my phone. You talk about your complexion. You
no.
don't want to talk about these things.
This a
I've heard you
nasty
say
woman.
things that
You
sound
know
like
what
a
that
white
is?
supremacist when
You
talking about
tell
African
you
and
what you is.
Caribbean
Let me tell you
people.
what you is. You is a witch.
But let's
That's
get to
Oh,
the
I'm a
topic,
witch.
Oh,
though.
All
y'all,
right,
come
that's
on,
okay.
man. Come
I
on.
have my
witch.
broomstick. I fly
I
Listen,
around
let me
you
ask
can use
y'all a
with
question.
my
Let
witch.
me ask
broomstick. I'm a
Mike.
bruja. Yes, I'm a
Let me ask
bruja.
Mike. I
But
gotta
let's
pass the mic. Roll image. Go ahead, roll image. Unmute yourself, roll image.
Uh, Chrissy, I think when I started coming on, I noticed that you were trying to kind of have a bond, get people to unify. The moment everybody on here who is FBA or so whatever realized that you're Caribbean, they lost all interest in building with you. There used to be a gentleman that used to come on here. I think he was Jamaican, Delroy or Elroy. It was the
Delaware.
same thing. They beat that man up until he stopped coming on this channel.
Hmm.
So I come on here because I just want to hear people's minds and then contribute however I can. But there's a group of people, even the other day, when I made that statements that I was making just to show how they sound, everybody got upset. Even Diners kicked me off the show. So there's a group of people that have their views. They're going to stick with it. We just have to find some common ground where we can just talk and just talk. They don't want to hear a Caribbean talking to them about their side of the story. Even though we all share the same story, like you say your ancestors, I can also say my ancestors too, right? But I can't say that because they were in America, so right there I'm cut off. You see, so we just have to find where we can all kind of talk and just talk because they don't want to hear nothing from you and you want to contribute and say, well, we connect here, we can uplift here. They don't care about no upliftment. They just like the slave thing and just leave it as that. So that's it.
Well, we share the same ancestors, brother.
Well,
Um,
everyone, please hit the like button again. Please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Dinas. And hello to the chat and the panelists. Look, I think it's up to us to, venerate our ancestors or denigrate them. And if you choose to denigrate your ancestor, that's on you. Somebody else can choose to, venerate their ancestors. I think enslavement is temporal. It's temporary. You can be enslaved and you can be freed. So you're not a slave in this, it's not the entirety of your being. It's a condition, in time where you can be enslaved for a period of time, or for some people, unfortunately, for the their entire life. But it's something that can be changed over time. So I don't have an issue with Vovo and other guys, identifying their ancestors as slave, which in the broader context is kind of degrading, because one can be enslaved, and a lot of people were enslaved and eventually freed, and some were able to buy their freedom and were no longer slaves. They were free men, as many people have pointed that out, and have been very proud of their ancestors being quote unquote free men. So I'm not here to argue with people about how they venerate or denigrate their ancestors, but you guys should afford Christy the right to venerate her ancestors, because she's looking at it from a temporal point of view, that it was just temporary, and Jamaicans on the island got the freedom, and although some of their ancestors were enslaved, but eventually they got freed, and they're using that angle. I see
You,
Bovo and other guys
And
trying to
some of them
use.
died as
real
slaves
fast,
too,
I
though.
can just get it. You use the
Some of
term
them died as slaves.
Yeah, I made
freedman.
that point, brother. I'm just
Freedman.
telling you that
What do freedman mean?
enslavement is not permanent. It can
What do
be
freedman mean?
temporary.
For the ones that died slaves, it was permanent, brother.
But
Respectfully.
here's the
That's what
thing,
I'm
though.
saying. But how do
In
you
order to
know
be
if your
a free
ancestor,
man, in order to be a free
were born into
man,
slavery and die into slavery? Some of them
So
Because we
could have been
have records
free.
on our ancestors. We
no, the
have
mere
records to
fact that
show.
you're here means that somebody survived out of slavery. The mere fact
Some
Right.
that you are
some
here,
did, some did, not all. Right? Checkmate.
your ancestors were freed
Some of
because
them
you wouldn't be
survived,
here.
yes. Some of them
What? Well,
survived,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yours did.
All right. So we're speaking about the ones that
Right.
died
We're
as
talking about
slaves.
African people
We're
that
not
were
talking about the
enslaved.
freedmen.
No, we're not.
Yes. The
We're talking
slaves,
about
yes.
African people. If you know
That
your
were
nation,
slaves.
if you knew you were Igbo, or you knew you were Congolese, or you
Uh-huh.
knew
Those
you were
those 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 are made
And
up
Yoruba,
and the white
identifiers.
man enslaved all of them.
right?
Don't leave
If you
that part out.
knew,
The
then
white
that
man
you can
enslaved all
claim
of them.
that. But if
let
you're
me say this,
Choctaw,
right?
if you're
My
Iroquois,
ancestor status was freedman in the. I mean, was slave in the American system. They were.
Exactly.
Dinus, you
That was
notice
their
they're not
status.
saying they're Indian anymore. You notice that
That was
they
their
backed up
status.
off the
No
Indian
trolling,
thing.
no nothing. See,
For
we
me,
don't
I'm
have to
just
That's
troll.
a
going with your
deflection.
See,
flow. I'm
we
going
don't
with your
we don't
flow.
have
Yeah,
to
that's a
troll. We can just
deflection.
tell you the facts. Their status was
Exactly.
slave. That was their status, and that's not embarrassing to me,
But
because
that's
some
not their
people ain't asked
that's not
that,
their
and that
ethnicity
fits right into
or
the title of the
race.
space. The
We
But you
didn't
title
don't
say,
know. You
hold on,
don't
hold on.
know
At
their
we
that
didn't
time,
ethnicity.
run, we didn't flee. We
That
fight.
was their condition,
That was
as
Exactly.
you
They
put
were
it,
their
their
in the
enslaved.
status.
American system.
it's not
That was
their
their status.
ethnicity. Early on, we
That was
didn't
their
even,
status.
we were still,
They
we could
had
say
the
that we
Hold on,
were,
status
hold on,
of
hold on. One mic at a time. When did we say that our slaves' ethnicity, pardon me, our ancestors' ethnicity was slaves? When did we say that?
because
Right.
people are trying to say that they're FBA. This is what they want to
No, I'm
identify
asking
as.
you in this
he's
discussion.
just
In this
saying
discussion,
anything, brother. He taking
is
you
that
in
he's saying
circles.
anything? I'm asking when. Let me box him in right quick. Shot. When did anyone on this panel say that our ancestors' ethnicity was slaves?
The mere fact that you say that you're descendants of slaves, and
I'm
Yeah,
not that you're
asking when did
descendants,
when
you're
did
and
we
saying
not
they
say
that
were
you're
slaves.
descendants of
when did we say
Africans.
that our
That
Yeah.
don't mean that that's their
That's your
ethnicity.
identity. You're using that as an
but when
identity
did we
Don't
say
mean that
that there
that's
was
their
their ethnicity? Simple
That's the
question. When did we
hardest
say that
part.
there was their ethnicity?
because you
You are a
also refer
descendant of
to.
slaves.
When did we say simple question? You see, I got him on a tightrope right now. He don't like
No,
his
you
head
did.
on.
No, you don't.
When
You're
did we
being too
say?
No,
aggressive.
no,
It's
you
not even
don't,
necessary to be
because
that aggressive.
because
In
you've
order to
never
box somebody
When
in,
identified your
in
group
order to box
as an
somebody in, they got
ethnicity.
to be
You've never
reasonable, and they got to
identified your
want to
group
deal
as
with the
But
facts.
ethnicity.
They
Shy,
got to be
You
Shy, look at
refer
the
to your
ADOS,
group
They
as
right?
an
have to be willing to
enslaved, as
concede.
a slave
These
All right,
group.
people
guys,
are just
we gotta have one mic. Well, we gotta have one mic. Elvis, you done?
One last thing, Donis, and shout to your point, right? You have ADOS. This is a group who identify themselves as descendants of slavery.
that's what we
You know,
are.
that's a
that's
description.
what
And
that's
a
what
That's
lot of
what
the
we are.
people, and one second, brother, a lot of like what Shai was saying, a lot of these people who direct ancestors were freed. Most of them were free men or
That mean
emancipated.
they
you're
was
not
free from
you're
One
slavery.
not
second. So one
you're,
second. Their status changed from the descendants of slaves the
No,
descendants of free people after they got
your
emancipated.
status can never
But you're
change from
using
slave
this,
to slave.
Slave, like
You
ADOS
can
to
never
identify
change
with the
from a
slavery part of these,
descendant
of
of
these
slave.
people, rather than identifying with those who were
If
emancipated,
let me respond to him.
which is
Good
crazy.
Let
point.
me respond
Good
to him.
I
point. No
passed the
doubt of
mic.
that.
And let me respond to him. Everyone heard the first statement I made was U.S. freedmen need to buy real estate in foreign nations. Y'all heard me say that multiple times. So Elvis, respond to that.
I wasn't on earlier,
Checkmate.
so I don't know the
All
context of
right,
your
so you got
statement.
to get the earwax out your ear, and that's the point right there.
He
No, I
wasn't
Yes,
said
here. He
we
wasn't
I
here.
wasn't
acknowledge.
on, so I don't know the
But
So you
in
can
context.
order,
ask for
brother,
clarity then, right?
right?
Can I ask a question in the
And
group?
Exactly.
mulatto.
I just used ADOS,
Go ahead,
and I
Elvis.
Okay,
made a point on that.
I gotta pass the mic to Dre. Go ahead, Dre.
All right. So I noticed that like the word slavery is getting a lot of people on the panel kind of like in an uproar. But the reason why ADOS is describing themselves as descendants of slavery, it has a lot to do with the harm that was done. It's basically a way to do it for political reasons in regards to reparations. That you have to pinpoint the harm in the identity in order to connect to the justice claim. So that way you can get, exactly, your just due. It's not about saying that we are proud to come from enslaved ancestors. What we're saying is that we are proud that we have made it through slavery, that our people have made it through slavery, such as, being able to start insurrections. We had a lot of activists, throughout history that were able to rebel against the system, even though the system is still oppressing us to this day, but we were still resilient enough to get through it, even to this day. So I think that when people say slaves or whatever it is, that they're trying to make it seem as if our people were just proud to be slaves. That's not true. Um, what I'm saying is that we're just talking about the harm that was done. That's a specific thing that we have to pinpoint. So as far as like the topic tonight about not fleeing and all that type of stuff, yes, we didn't
right.
flee, because our people were forced here. That's just what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, we did not flee from. And when you say Africa, we know that that's a broad term. Like where to? People say, oh, we're African, we're this and we're that. Okay, but where in Africa? See, a Nigerian can pinpoint exactly where they're from. A person from Senegal can pinpoint exactly where they're from, but the American Negro cannot do that. All we know is America. All we know is this country. So when people say that, oh well, we have to identify a lot about a lot with this whole African term. Well, can we pinpoint exactly the specificity of what that means? Because
Some of us can.
None of us can.
I mean, it's just to me, I just feel like it's just a loaded type of term that people just throw out there just to say that we have a connection to Africa. Because I would say we are 400 plus years removed from Africa. We don't know
No,
exactly where that is.
I'm 6 generations from Africa on one side of my family. That's
What's
not
the last
500
person
years.
name? What's the
That's
last
that's
person name
that's
that was in Africa?
17. That's 17 late
What's the last
1700s.
person name that was in Africa? I can identify my last person that was enslaved here in America.
Nat Turner's grandmother, and He was born in the
He's making this shit up, bro.
late
He's totally making
1700s.
this shit up.
Now I'll give you
What's her
the whole. I
name?
gave the lineage last time. I
What's her
gave the whole
name?
lineage.
What's her name? Nat Turner's grandmother is too vague.
And another point I want to make is
And she
about
hasn't
Bro, he kept that's
is
something
also
for a
about this
Pan
whole thing
African. He
about
would
we
show
just
good
Yeah,
black
yeah,
on
shy,
Well,
yeah.
listen
break
Brother,
now.
that
what's the
name up
name?
like that. He
Since
would be
you
able to
claiming
round that
that
name
Turner
up.
lineage, what's the name of your grandmama? Since you claiming
Yeah.
that Turner lineage,
Wait a
checkmate.
minute. I'll tell you in a second. Let me
He
pull
You would
it up.
got
already have
Google
that
it.
ready.
Let me
He
pull it
got
up.
Google it.
That's
All
Hey,
right,
easy.
checkmate guy.
Let me pass the mic to Set2. Go ahead, Set2.
Okay, so I want to talk to this checkmate guy every time saying
what's
checkmate
up,
about
fam? What's
some.
happening?
Yeah. I want to talk to you, man, because
What's happening?
when you say checkmate about a mechanician, like somebody working in mechanic is not a mechanician. That's a job. Slavery was not a job. People was not like paid to be slave, or was not like doing like their everyday duty to be slave. That was like they were enslaved, they were forced. So you cannot
forced labor.
checkmate anybody about that. So
Yeah.
just first of
Let
all,
me let
that's
me
not
respond to that, brother. Watch how brief
no.
my response is. Watch how brief my
Okay, go
response
ahead.
is. A
Nah,
Lydia
bro,
is
mechanic.
her
you
name.
interrupt too much, bro. Let the
Lydia
man
is Nat
finish, man.
Turner's
Let me
grandmother's
respond.
name.
Watch how
Lydia.
brief. Watch how brief
Or
the
Bridget
response
on the
is.
father's side.
All right, but watch how brief the response is to the African brother. A mechanic is a descriptor of a human, just like a slave is a descriptor of a human. Just because a mechanic is a mechanic, that doesn't mean that he does not have other occupations or other things that he can be
A
described as.
slave is below
Slavery is
human.
not an
Nah,
occupation. You
nah.
fool.
You tryna,
It's a
you
I
force.
tryna
never
be,
said. I never
you
said it was.
trying to bring a theory that don't
Yeah,
even make
mechanic
sense.
is
That
not
don't
an
even
No,
come
occupation.
about.
That
no,
That
you
somebody
got to
don't
be
even
earns
brief.
come
for a
about. Come
wage.
on, man.
You,
Come on, man.
Slavery
You
That
is
but
was
one
just
mic at a
horrible.
time,
okay.
though. One
Take
mic at a
take
time.
your take. No, no. It's my
But one
time. You
mic at a
gotta
time.
listen. No, no. It's my time. You gotta listen. You've been
You asked
checking
me a
me.
question.
No, no, no. I'm
All right,
just
go ahead. Make
checking
your
you
point
right
then.
now.
Go ahead.
I'm just checking you right now. You
All
checking
right, go
me
ahead.
people
You
with
should
no
have checked your
basis.
ancestors
No,
that
no, no,
sold
no, no.
Africans to the
Listen,
white man.
listen, listen, listen. No, 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 no.
But why you didn't check your ancestors for selling
That's not
Africans
Because
to
he
the white
wasn't
man?
okay.
alive
No,
when
you
that
gotta
happened.
listen now, man. Just take it.
But
Just take
answer
it.
that
Your
part though.
checkmate.
Answer that
Take
part.
your checkmate back. No, no, no.
All right, but
I will
answer that
talk to you.
question.
No, you gotta listen. Okay, if this guy can listen, if this guy can take his
Stop crying for
checkmate
the
back, I'm
referee,
gonna.
bro.
I'm.
Learn how to
No, no,
fight.
no. No, no,
Look,
no.
look, we have
No, I'm
Mulatto.
not here to fight.
Let Albert set to ask your question. Set go ahead.
Yes, so this guy been, tripping here. So checkmate about mechanician taking, that don't make sense. What Chrissy was saying earlier is right. People were enslaved, people were forced to be here. My ancestors, I'm considering my ancestors because I have lost families on this transatlantic slave trade. If you go to Philadelphia, you'll find my people. Like, there's archive of my people. Their
What
name.
family
If you
member
don't
you lost?
listen,
No, no,
listen, listen,
let him
No,
finish
listen,
the
bro. Let
question
him
listen,
though.
finish,
Let him
listen,
though,
finish the
bro.
question though.
listen,
Please ask your question.
listen. You gotta listen. If you go to like people's DNA, you will find Senegalese, you will find Sudanese, you will find Malian, you'll find Nigerian. Those are countries that were formed after the balkanization in Berlin. They divided Africa into a piece of cake to just like eat and take the resources, created genocide in like Congo, killed millions of
Is
people.
it a question in
People,
here,
no, no,
brother?
listen, no, no,
What
no,
a question.
listen. You just gotta listen and take it because
Yeah, he
I'm
has the
telling you
mic. He
about
can make a
foot.
comment or ask a
Yes,
question. Let him speak.
I'm gonna do whatever I feel like doing right now because I got the mic. You gotta listen. I'm gonna check you right now.
All right, go ahead.
Those
We
people
listen.
was forced. Those people was forced. They were not like here because they were not paid. They were enslaved, and we are. I am an African proud. I am also looking forward to connect with my brothers. And it's not only America. I'm looking forward to go to South America, everywhere that people from my place,
Nigeria.
my community was taken and sent against their will. I'm trying
Y'all
to
sold them to
connect,
the white
unite.
man, bro.
No,
Y'all
no,
sold
no,
them to the
no.
white man. Just tell the truth.
You don't have no proof about what
You
you're
sold them
saying.
to
You're
the
just
white
making
man, bro. You sold them to the
some
white
some
man.
bullshit stuff like that
You
don't
sold
make
them to the
sense.
white
You're
man,
a
bro.
mulatto.
Okay, so Diners,
Just let him
Your
Diners,
father
finish.
I
chose
give
to
you
mate
back
with a
the
white
floor.
person.
Let him
Okay,
finish.
It
these
wasn't
people are not
willingly.
listening.
I hear echoes and it's too much going on. Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
Pambalado, are you biracial?
You see my name, brother.
Are you biracial?
What part are you confused about? You see my name. I'm multiracial.
So
Get to your point.
when you come here and you're speaking,
Yes.
which side are you? Which side are you speaking?
I'm on the mulatto side. You see my name.
Yeah, but which side? There's two sides of you. Which side is speaking right
I'm
now?
on the mulatto side. You not listening?
Yeah, mulatto consists of two things. You have to
Yes,
be
that's the
of
side I'm
two
on. I'm on the
races to be
mulatto
a
side.
mulatto. So which side is speaking?
I'm on the mulatto side, brother. Do you have a
You
comprehension
guys
issue?
have to listen to these people when they come online, man.
Yes. But why did y'all sell the Africans to the Europeans? Whose side was y'all on then?
You guys have to pay
Checkmate.
attention to people when they come
Let's
online.
have a dialogue. When y'all sold the Africans to the white man,
There's a
whose side
lot
was
of
y'all on?
wolf in sheep clothing.
All right, but when y'all sold the Africans to
There's a
Europeans,
lot
whose
of
side was y'all on?
wolf in sheep
I
clothing.
I answered your question now. Answer mine. When the
Yeah.
Africans sold Africans to Europeans, whose side was y'all on?
That's
Can
an
you
Checkmate.
prove? Can
assumption.
you prove to us that your
Checkmate.
ancestors were sold into slavery?
You
Thank
got
you.
African.
Story
Let
that
me
the
let me
white
answer
man
that.
tell.
Let me answer that. You got African nations apologizing for it.
I'm asking
That's a
you
fact.
personally. You're
That's a
half
fact.
white. You have only 50 at most, 50% black DNA. Can
Yes,
you prove that
my
that 50%
so
black
so
DNA
let
was
me answer
enslaved?
that. Yes, so I
Oh,
agree
good
that my
point.
African side sold my ancestors to the Europeans. What's your point?
How do you know that?
Prove it. Show it. Show it to
How do you
us.
There,
know
there
that?
Well,
were
look, I'm not
two
asking y'all
different.
to believe me. I'm asking
No,
my
no,
people
no.
the
You
Bible.
No,
no.
no,
You're
no.
talking
But
about
one mic at a
checkmate. We're
time.
checkmaking you now. Show
Right.
us that your
Exactly.
50% black
All
side
right,
was
all right.
sold into slavery.
I lied
Right.
about it all. All right, I lied about it all.
No,
Every
prove it.
I
You're
person
said
talking all
that.
this
Okay.
nonsense like you got
All
facts.
right, mute
Prove it
up.
to
Let me
us.
answer. All right,
You
mute up
see
for
Every
the
this
answer.
person who
snail is
ended up in
slowly crawling
slavery,
back in its
All right,
shell.
mute up for the
You
answer. Mute up for the
right?
answer.
every
I'm not
every
muting
every
up for the
person
answer.
All
who
Prove
right,
it
ended
to
up
us
I'm
in
gonna
right
shut
now.
up.
Ernest,
slavery.
I give
Prove
back
Can I
it.
my
say
floor
something?
to Chrissy.
All right,
Chrissy,
so
go
let
ahead.
Pat
goddamn,
Mulatto answer the question. Go ahead, Pat Mulatto.
goddamn, thank you. And I'm not here to convince Africans of nothing. I'm here to tell ADOS SBA to buy real estate in the countries that Africans come from, to buy real estate in the Caribbean, buy real estate in Latin America. I don't care if any African believes me about anything.
Now
You've
he's
never
running
been
away
to
I don't
now.
believe
Africa.
in you.
So
You've never been to
checkmate. Who got
Africa,
the final
Yeah,
mulatto.
checkmate? We
Checkmate.
did.
don't believe me. All
Checkmate.
right, I have no
Checkmate, fool.
African
Checkmate.
You can't
ancestors.
prove that
Checkmate.
you're even from
That's a
Africa.
white
I have no
boy
African
with a
Checkmate.
black
ancestors.
So,
accent.
See,
so
that's
they
the
asked
story
me
of
what
the
my
white man.
grandmother's name was, and here's my
Yeah,
grandmother's name:
I have no relation to any of
Lydia
you
on,
Africans.
excuse me, Lydia on one side, the maternal side, Bridget on the other side, and then they Nancy was Nat's mother. So
Okay, you got it off
Nancy's
Google.
Yeah, yeah,
n-
you
I don't
must
even know
have,
if they
Yeah,
have
he
no,
got
one.
that
no,
off
no,
Google.
no, no, no.
because it had
This
to
is
be somebody
this
You're a
is
famous.
Google scholar.
It
no.
couldn't be
I'm
any
gonna tell you
African.
where I got it
And
from.
how is Nancy an
Let me tell you
African
where.
name?
Let me tell you where I got it
It's easy
from.
to handle. How is Nancy
Another
an African
person
name?
on. So I was on social media app, and another person found his ancestry. He was related to Nancy Turner, who was Nat's mother. Now we didn't on our side. We didn't have that information. We only went back as far as Nat
What
and
was her
his
African
daughter.
name?
No, Nancy was
You
Nat's
only go as
mother.
far as
You
that.
are an
If y'all
idiot
be
if you
quiet
think
What
that
was
the
her
long
white
African
enough,
name?
man,
if
Checkmate.
you
you're
be
an idiot if
quiet
you think
long
the white
enough, you'll
man is
get
going
the
to
answer.
record an
Mulatto,
African
don't
name
even
Nancy
act
Turner
like
and
is
you
use it
know.
as
documented
record.
as Nat's
Why?
mother,
Are you
What?
out of your
right?
mind?
Bridget and Lydia
Why
are
tell us we're from
documented
Africa then?
as his grandmothers, and one of them is from Akan from present day Ghana.
You think the
Boom.
white man knew how to spell African names, or they even wanted black
Well,
people to
then
keep
how
their
do you know
African
she
The
name when
was
they
white
were
man gave
African?
y'all
enslaved?
your writing
How do you
system.
know she
Yeah,
was
Yo,
yeah.
you
I
African?
thought
guys
I
they
mean, what's
left.
wrong with this dude, man?
I
So
thought
The
they
now,
white
left
man
now
gave y'all
slaves.
your writing
prove
system.
prove your
How do you
people
know
were
she
Which
was African?
writing
enslaved
system
by
is
the
that?
The
Africans,
white man
sold
gave
by
y'all
the
your writing
Africans.
system.
I
That's
prove
not.
it with
That's
my
a
We're
lie.
not
eyes.
even sure you're black.
That's
You
a
haven't
lie.
established your blackness on the panel, bro.
No, I'm
So
not
we,
black
we
like
can't
you.
we
I'm
can't
not
even
black like
take your
you.
word for
No, I'm
anything.
not black like you. I'm a
Prove
mulatto.
your
You
paperwork
yeah,
sold
we
by
know
You're
that.
nothing
That's
like
because
Africans.
me.
you
You're
barely have
nothing
any
like me.
black blood, so you have
You
no
speak my
stake in
language.
this game,
You
brother.
speak my ancestors' language. My white ancestors forced you to speak English, and you
yeah,
There you
you
obliged.
see,
go.
you
There,
see
there
Much
the
there's that
fact.
respect.
white side. This is
There
who
you
this guy
You
is,
go.
said much
Dynasty.
There you
respect to my
go. There
ancestors.
you
Okay,
go. You
This
just
let
is
them
the
showed
talk
dilemma
long.
yourself.
with mulattoes. They're
Yes,
mixed
Let them
yes,
in
talk
yes.
long
between
I'm
two
proud of
enough.
what I
words.
am.
Usually they
Look,
think
y'all
with
take
their
a
white
shot.
minds when
Y'all
it comes to
take
black
a shot
people,
back.
and they play the victim
Hold
when
on.
they're
Y'all take
amongst
a
white
shot at me.
people.
I take a
That's
shot
Right,
who
back
they
and y'all
are.
cry.
right, and they want sympathy too,
Yeah.
Y'all take
There
a
you
sh-
go.
When they're with black
because
There you
people, they
go.
think
You
they're
just
better.
show
they're
yourself.
When they're with
treated
white people,
bad
they
by
want
both
some
But why
sides.
accommodation
y'all
because
cry
you have
when I
some
take a
black in them.
shot back at y'all though? When y'all
That's
take a
what you
shot
are,
at me,
brother. You're not African. You
I
haven't
ain't
proven
cry.
you're African. We
All
don't
right,
take
Hey,
brother.
your
All
word
right, all right.
seriously.
y'all
Stop,
table
stop,
manners
man.
Checkmate.
on your
You're
leader.
confused
Hey,
mulatto.
Vovo,
You'll be
Yes,
like
I'm
that for the
nothing
rest of
like
your
you.
life,
defend your
bro.
man.
And
You
haven't
can
Checkmate.
never
proved
be
that
like
Defend your
me.
Africans
man.
sold his ancestors into slavery either. He ain't proved that
Vovo,
either.
defend your man.
I'm not
Stop
African. I'm
crying. Y'all took shots at me. I took shots back, and y'all crying.
No, no,
Checkmate.
don't play the victim now, mulatto
Listen,
boy.
Yeah, stop
Can't prove
crying.
that you're
Stop
from Africa,
crying.
bro.
But
You
back
want
to
to
the
use that?
subject,
Oh,
though.
your ancestors
I'm
sold us
not
into slavery.
really.
All
Who
right,
is
but let's get
us?
to the subject of the
I'm not
video.
here to
No, no, no,
defend
no. Don't
anybody.
run away from the
ADOS
topic now.
FBA,
Checkmate, Mr. Checkmate guy.
buy
Stay
real
on the
estate in
topic. Don't run
Africa.
away. Don't run away.
And do you guys know why he's able
Brother,
to
you ran
talk
away
in
from
these
Africa.
conversations?
Checkmate.
The reason
You
why
ran
he's
away
able
from
to
Africa.
talk is
Checkmate.
because he's
Checkmate thing
black.
sounds
And the
childish.
thing is,
You
ADOS
you
doesn't
ran
know
away
black.
from your African
All right, but
blood.
let the sister
Now you
speak.
got
Go ahead,
barely any
Chrissy.
African
We,
blood.
we ran
All
away from
right, bro.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Can
Yeah,
I say
Checkmate.
something?
you ran away
All
from
right,
your
go ahead,
African
Chrissy.
blood. You ain't got no
You
stake to
can
speak on
talk.
this
We
All
want to
right.
conversation,
listen
bro.
to
Yeah, I'm
Chrissy,
not like
please,
you. We're
guys.
Let the
not
sister
related.
speak. let the sister speak.
Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is there were two ways in which people became enslaved. Part was, yes, people were sold, and other parts were that they actually fought the Portuguese, the British, the Germans, and eventually lost and ended up prisoners of war who ended up in slavery. So everyone was not necessarily sold. Also, with this idea that slavery was
Where'd you get
black
that
and white.
information from, though?
Let me finish. Oh, from study.
Now we
From
listening,
study.
sis. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, sis.
Brazilians have many of them have Angola ancestry from Angola, right? Many of their ancestors fought the Portuguese because they used to be trading partners with the Portuguese, and then the Portuguese instituted slavery and kind of turned on them, and they fought. The Angolan Empire fought against the Portuguese and eventually lost because they were outgunned, and then they were imprisoned and taken into slavery
Oh, so
into
Africans didn't
Brazil.
sell to the Portuguese?
That also happened
Never
in
answered the
Ghana,
question.
where the Akan were fighting the British, and they had a few guns and actually
It's Asante,
re-engineered
not Akan.
were re-engineering the gun, figuring out how to create their own guns from the few guns that they bought from the Europeans. wait, Papa, hold on. And from that,
They didn't even know how to forge
they
steel.
eventually lost when European guns got more sophisticated,
They didn't
and
get
many
more
of them were
sophisticated
taken into
you making stuff
slavery.
up. I'm sorry, you making
I'm not
stuff up.
making. Well, you did
No,
study.
and that
That's
happened
true.
in
I'm gonna
Dahomey
The
tell
too.
you
tribes.
from like
You
I'm
making
you
Same
the
stuff
thing
up.
happened
people.
in
Are you saying
Dahomey.
I'm
if you
making stuff
listen,
Hey,
up because
the first time
you
the
don't like the
Gatling
to
gun,
know
information?
the truth, you gotta
the
No,
first time
listen.
the
he's
Gatling
Go
gun
cutting
was
and
you
look up
off.
go
Exactly.
I am
and look up
listening.
the
That's how I do
Angola
premise.
and
You making it up.
Portuguese War. Go and look up about the ancestry of people of Brazil.
But
Go
see,
and look up
here's the
the
problem
fights
I have.
between the
You're cutting her
Angola,
off
the
because you don't want to hear
Akan
what she's
of
No,
saying.
no,
Ghana.
no, no.
You
You
said I
don't
could
want me
speak,
to
and
you
now you're
don't want me
speaking
to
over
get
me.
clarification. That's what it is. I asked you earlier. I
Let
said,
her finish.
hold up. I asked
I'm
you
telling you
earlier.
that I'm telling you where you can find this
But
information.
hold on. I asked you earlier. I said, so you're saying that the Africans did not sell the
No,
slaves
I'm
to
not
the Portuguese?
saying that. You have
No,
to
he
Hold
listen.
on,
said
I
that.
said
hold
there
on,
were
go
He's
on,
two
not
Chris,
ways
put
listening.
it back.
But
that
No,
Chrissy,
but
people
what
you,
was your
but,
became
point
She
in
but
said
bringing
that
that
enslaved.
up?
already. He's
hold
not
on.
listening.
Just relax. I am
He just
listening.
talked about the
That's why I'm
nuance.
asking this
But
question
she
because you
already
Okay,
said
said,
that.
you
why don't
maybe
you
you didn't hear the
relax,
Okay.
first part of what I
sir?
said.
I did.
I
That's
said
why I'm asking you this question because you said they went to war and they were prisoners of
there
war.
were two ways.
Part of
Two ways people became slaves. One way was that they were sold. The other way is that they fought the Europeans and eventually lost and were taken as prisoners of war. Also,
Hmm.
there were people who were doing the enslaving, helping the Europeans enslaving, and eventually found themselves on the boats as well. So this idea that it's black and white, where you could say, okay, the Africans who are there did the enslaving, and the
Hold
black
up,
folk who
hold
are
up, hold up, hold up,
outside were
hold up.
the enslaved. Not necessarily true. Some of
Some of the
I
let me
would
Africans
add
too.
even
finish.
one more.
Hold
Let
on,
me
sir.
I would
finish
add
my
one more
point.
too.
Sir, hold up,
I would
Let me
add
finish
one
my
more.
point.
sir.
Well,
I'm
Some of
guys,
the people
let
who were
Chrissy finish.
enslaving
these people.
folks ended up
Okay, let me
themselves
answer the
in the
question.
ships. So
Okay,
it's
so if
not
that's the
black and
case,
white.
but if that's the case, then that means you're trying to absorb the African from
I'm just trying to absolve.
culpability
I'm
of the.
telling you
No,
history because many people don't
I'm an
actually
to tell
study
you
the
African.
the truth,
history. They go by these
speaker of the truth.
generalizations
I
that
can
they
tell
hear
you the
other
truth you're
people
looking for.
say, and they take that
Yeah, that's
as
the downside
historical
of
fact.
that.
I'm
Yeah,
giving you the full
No,
context
no,
of what happened at that time.
But she's gonna
I think
add
you're
one
bro,
more
I'm
to
an
it.
African. I
Hey,
will
guys,
admit to
guys,
Can I
you.
guys,
add
hold
one more?
on. There's other people that want to get on the.
But can Elvis correct her? He's a real African. Can Elvis
I'm telling
correct
you,
her?
Okay.
we sold people into slavery. That's a fact. We're not denying it. We're not running from it. It's been
So no,
established. So there you go.
Elvis, when you say
okay. So
we,
now,
who you
well,
talking about?
hold up. But now, what, Chrissy? What do you say to that?
Africans. Don't only
No, no,
take
no,
the
no,
core
no.
parts of Africa.
Well,
Take
hold
the
up.
other.
Elvis,
Pause.
tell
What do you
me
say
who
to
you
that?
talking.
You
Who you
wanna
talking
Chrissy,
about?
you
When you
wanna
say
Chrissy
There's
we?
just
so
said
many
it
people
twice.
talking. I don't know who's saying. I
okay,
don't
Chrissy,
can't hear
what
anything.
do you say to what Elvis just said?
I don't know because so many people was talking over
He
him.
said
What did he say?
Hold on.
he
Be
said he's
quiet.
African.
Be quiet. Elvis, repeat what you said. No one interrupt.
I said, yes, Africans sold other Africans into slavery. This is a fact. Can't run away from it.
I'm not disputing that fact.
She said that.
Sounds like that's what you were
What
doing.
are you
That's one
talking
of the
about?
two ways
That's
she
not what I
said.
was doing. I
One
said
of the, but
it's a
Elvis said
listening
one way. He
comprehension
said one
issue.
way. He didn't say 50
He
different
There
agrees
ways.
with
really is a
that
listening
one of the two
comprehension
ways she
issue,
said.
and
Okay,
I think that's the crux
Okay,
of our problem.
Elvis. Was there one way or 50 million different ways?
What do you
I
mean? What do you
said
mean by
that
that
there are
question?
two ways to give you the
Chrissy,
full story.
she says two, but she
And
explained
Chrissy,
about
I would
48
add one
different
other
There are
ways.
way.
two main
I
ways.
would
Either
add one
people
other
were
way.
sold or
The
they were
other way,
prisoners of war.
the other way is that they went in and just took groups of people. That's
Yeah,
not a
so either
prisoner's
you're
war.
walking
That's
minding your
not
business and
being
you were
sold.
kidnapped.
They went in and took people. People fought and they went and just took motherfuckers. But they didn't just get took. They fought back.
He's
Without
afraid
And
to.
You know,
and that's not
Elvis,
being a
the
prisoner
white man
slave,
cannot
nor
go
is that
into
being
the
sold into
interior of
slavery.
Africa by
If I
But
himself
may,
y'all don't
claim
want to hear
somebody.
that because it doesn't serve your purpose
no,
because you
Without
got
actually,
psychological
you're lying.
pain.
Yeah, actually, I'm telling
You
you,
got
you're lying.
we're not
psychological
White
lying.
man
Have
pain.
cannot
you
go
don't
into
you, the
the
They
white man
don't
information is
read.
cannot.
public information. I don't understand.
Right. This
You're
public
lying.
information
I'm
too.
telling you
That they
outright, you're
sold
lying.
people. The white
You're lying.
man's
I'm
No, we're not
lying.
mentality is too
lying.
weak. He
No, we're
cannot
not
go
Who,
into
lying.
the
guidance, can
interior of
are you
Africa
familiar with
claiming people by
information I'm sharing,
himself.
or can you share? Can you just a simple Google search? Since other folks can't do it.
And if she's lying, what's your proof that she's lying?
So hold up.
His feelings are
I,
more his proof that I'm lying.
he asked me a question. I can explain.
Blah 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 blah.
I
Right.
can.
Vovo
Oh, you don't
Max.
want the answer. See, he doesn't want the answer. He asked the question. He doesn't really
What's
want
the
the answer.
proof? Give us a
His
source.
feelings. His
The proof
feelings
is-
are the proof,
There's a
not
transatlantic.
facts. His feelings.
So they don't
Chrissy,
like
let him talk though.
Go ahead,
Go
Vovo.
Can I say
What's your
something
point
about?
of proof? Give
I'm
us
trying
a
to
source.
speak. Now,
No, Vovo's saying that.
there
What?
was hold up. There was a transatlantic slave trade, right? Right.
No, Volvo is saying that
No,
it's
my
a
man, you
lie.
asked me a question. I'm asking you
Are
now.
you Volvo Rants?
Was there a transatlantic slave trade, sir?
He know what he doing. Go ahead, bro.
No, Volvo said it was a lie.
Sir,
I'm
stop
asking Volvo
bullshitting.
what is
Stop, stop
Shy,
bullshitting,
mute
sir.
your
up for a
name is not
second, Shy,
Volvo
please.
Rants, sir.
Shy,
Stop
mute
bullshitting.
up. Go ahead,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
if
yeah.
there was
Please.
if there was a transatlantic slave trade, that means it was organized, right? And if it was organized, you just can't knock a few people over the head because of this or because you don't
Exactly,
like them.
exactly. I will agree with you on that. Speak of the truth. It was organized. So if it was organized, you can track down who was the responsible people of selling their own people.
Right.
So there is proof. There is proof. There is names. Like I'm telling you about, like from where I come from, we know who was selling who. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can tell you who was selling who. So like this, it was organized. Like people were fighting, like going to like people's villages that were like, over there, burning, taking people that they wanted to take because they had kingdoms. They had, you can name and trace families until now of those who were linking with the European and doing the bullshit that they were doing. And it was not everybody. So if you want to just say it's Africans, you just put like a whole bunch of people in one pot, and that don't work
That's
like
Pan
that. But if
Africanism.
you
A
want to
whole
know,
bunch of
but if
people
you
in
want
one
to know,
pot.
listen, Bobo. If you want to know, we can tell you who exactly. And the family, they are still wealthy. They are still rich because they've been benefiting
Oh, wait,
from
well,
this
pause,
same
pause 1
system.
second, pause 1
So, and
second.
if you
You
track
said,
that, we can
hold
give
on,
you
I'm gonna get
information,
back.
but you gotta listen and not generalize.
Hold on 1
I come
second.
from the ground, from
Hey,
the source,
sir,
and I'm like interested about this
hold up,
topic.
hold up, pause 1 second. So you said that they're still over there and they're still wealthy, right? So that
I said
means,
a lot in that.
Yeah,
that when
we can give you like a Tinubu,
hold
Madam
up,
Let
Tinubu.
him make his point, though. Let him make his
She's
point.
well known.
hold up, sir. So that means what Chrissy said about the people selling the slaves to the Portuguese getting knocked over the head and getting on the slave ships themselves, that can't be
Yeah,
true then.
some
I
of them
never
did.
said knocked over the head.
How else is it gonna be done?
There are different
Some of them
communities,
got
and
targeted for
mm,
selling a lot of slave, and they were overthrown and overpowered, and they themselves were sold into slavery. It
Right,
happened. This
right.
is a
You get
fact too.
overpowered by getting knocked over the head, right?
Okay, if you want to say it like that, yeah, fine.
So what Chrissy said once again, see, she comes up here and embellishes a lot.
I'm
You
not
got,
embell. Do
you got.
you know how to use Google?
What are
You know how
you
to use
talking about?
Google? There are different
She's talking
communities. So
about
let's take the United States, right? And let's say China
No,
is
no, let's take
planning
the
to.
UK. Let's take the UK because I'm tired of you using the United States.
Okay, fine.
Take the UK.
Okay, we'll say UK. Fine. We'll take the UK. And let's say there is, I don't know, the Chinese coming, and they're coming to, let's say, Brixton or London wants to do human trafficking and they want to sell their people, right? And Brixton finds out what's happening, right? And Brixton knows that, okay, London has been doing this trade, this human trafficking trade with China, and they've gotten really powerful. And now the Chinese want the people in Brixton. And the people in Brixton hear word of this. And the people in Brixton said, we're not going to engage in this. We're going to fight the Chinese. So there were different communities, different societies where word was getting around what was happening and people organized themselves to fight in some cases. In other cases, people were like, yeah, this is a great money-making opportunity. So I mean,
And Chrissy,
I thought this is basic
it's basic
history
knowledge, and that's the point I was
information.
about to make. Please let
This
me
is
respond to you, Chrissy.
basic
What I'm about to say is,
foundational information. I'm just
and
shocked
it'll
that
be what I'm about
this
to
is
say is,
new
it'll be brief,
information to
Let
Chrissy.
you.
her finish, please.
Now, Chrissy, and please let me say this to Chrissy with all due respect. Now, we never said all Africans sold our ancestors. No, we said Africans sold our ancestors, and that's a 100% factual statement. Even an African on the panel acknowledged this. So, with all
But
due
I never
respect, what?
said that
Go
was
ahead, take
not
it.
inaccurate. It is accurate. And it's
But
also
you tried to
accurate
But
dilute
that
but
it.
but let
there
me
were
answer my question though.
tribes who fought
But
against slavery.
but
Both
we know
things are
that. But my
correct.
question,
And
And it's
how
but
about
also accurate that
please let me
Africans
ask the
mulatto? How
question.
didn't
about the
sell
tribes?
themselves
Anybody
into
who
Africans
My
slavery.
reads the
that
God.
was
history
stripped about.
But
would
please let
know
me
this
ask. But let me
information.
ask the
This is
question though, Chrissy.
documented information.
But
Just
If the
Google
Chrissy,
white
it.
man, if the
no,
white
but
man
Chrissy.
Simple
knocking people
Google
over the
search.
head, he ain't need nobody to sell. Then he
All right,
could
but
have just
hold on,
taken
one
them
mic at a
all.
time. Chrissy, let me ask this question. And this is the question I was trying to ask you before I was cut off. The question is, why is it your reflex to always tell us that all Africans didn't sell our ancestors when we say that our ancestors were sold by Africans? Clearly, we know all Africans didn't sell our ancestors. So why do you deflect with that point?
I'm not
Respectfully.
deflecting. I'm giving the full story because you're telling part of it.
But
So
sis, what
I'm
part do we not know?
giving the
Look,
full context of what was happening
Let
at
respectfully and
her.
that
seriously,
We
time.
can let her
mulatto.
even
We're
respond to
not even
that
sure
How
question.
do
you're
you
a
guys
black
let
person. We
mulatto
really
talk to you
aren't. We're
guys?
not even
I'm
sure you
not
have a
black. I'm
dirty
not
black
black.
butt.
You ask her a
Black
question and you
mulatto.
start
I'm
talking
not black.
over her.
I'm
Yeah.
not black.
Why
But
you pressing the issue when you're barely black, brother?
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
you
black at
shouldn't even
all.
get
No,
to
I'm not
speak
black at
that
all.
night.
That's
You
Dynas,
shouldn't
your
even get to
speculation.
speak
I'm not
that
black
night.
Dynas,
at all.
are you there?
I'm not black at all. But the question is,
You know
So
why
no,
he's
wait a
able
minute.
to
Hold
speak?
on, hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
You
There's
know
a
why
my
he's able to
God.
speak?
hold
Go
Because
on,
ahead.
Dynas.
anything and
I'm here.
everything can
Somebody,
identify
somebody.
as black.
Well, one mic. Somebody call me. What's up?
Dynas, there's a story of a brother that his people are from Bogatanga, Ghana. That's right near the border of Burkina Faso. And his great grandmother, or great grandmother, was alone doing some work in the yard. And these two white men came to capture her and take her all the way in the north part of Ghana. And she killed both of them white men with her fucking pestle.
More of them
Killed
should have
them
did that.
dead.
More of them should have
He had
did
a
that.
Where's
pistol.
this
Killed
documented
them
at?
He had a
dead.
pistol and a
So
More
cigarette.
of
when you
them should
talk
have did
about
that.
Africans taking Africans, these were white people all
He
the
had
way
a
in the
two
north of
shot.
Ghana.
She killed two white men with a pistol back then. The pistol back then only
No,
held.
a pestle and
Oh,
mortar,
I'm about to say,
pestle.
Hey, let me
Well,
give
no,
you
no, no, no.
information
The
about the
point
guns.
is, the
Can I
point
give
is
you guys
more of them,
information
That
about
sounds
guns?
like some BS too. I'm sorry, man.
Hold on.
more
Let me
Well,
give you
Africans.
guys
it was hard to
information
believe,
about the
but
My
guns.
based
Hold
God.
on
on.
the
an
other
old
information the
lady
brother
killed
said,
two white
Let
men
me
with.
give you guys
yeah, she
information
killed them,
about the
and
guns.
she's a
Y'all
hero
ain't
for
gonna
that.
never
All
do
right.
Pan Africanism.
Hold
Can
on,
I
but
give you guys information
Hey,
about the
when do I
guns?
get
but
a
let me
chance
just
to
say this
talk
though.
about
Hold on.
something real?
Hold on. You hear I'm trying to get in though, and I've been trying to get in multiple times. The point is this. Yes, more Africans should have did that, but they didn't, unfortunately. And that's how literally hundreds of thousands of Africans got shipped to the New World, into Arabia in enslavement, because you
Let me
had
tell you
Mulatto,
why
complicit
more
mulatto.
Africans
you
could
had
Do you
have used.
complicit
blame your
Hold on.
white
Africans.
ancestors for enslaving black people too?
Hold on. Let me answer
Well, let
this
me hold
question
on. Let me
first.
answer that. Let me answer
That's
that.
a good
I
question.
I blame both of them, and that's the point. I don't let either one of you off the hook. I see
So
you in
is it
Caucasian.
50-50, or do you give black people more,
No, I
Africans
see,
more blame?
and I've said this before. I see Africans and Europeans as co-conspirators, because that's what you are.
But
You were
how
the
do you know that your
co-conspirators in
So
enslavement.
you
ancestors were
descend from
directly
enslaved
involved in the
people
slave
and
trade?
from enslaver. So look at
Exactly.
that conundrum. You're both
Yes.
an enslaver and someone who were enslaved.
Yes. And your
Yo,
grandkids will
let
be
me chime
mulattoes
in.
like
Let me
me.
say
How
something.
does that
Let me
happen?
say
Your
something real
grandkids
quick.
will be
I
mulattoes like
strongly
me.
doubt that, my brother.
Yes, they
I'm
will
not
be.
attracted to white people.
It's a part of
Elvis and
evolution. You can't
Mulatto.
avoid it.
Nah. I'm a black
It's a
Yo,
part
man.
of
I agree with
evolution.
black
Yes.
women.
yeah,
I have
Mulatto.
no desire
Your
for white
grandkids will
people.
look like me. Your
Nope.
grandkids
Yo,
will look like me.
Nope.
Yes.
the reason why Mulatto or people like him
Yes.
can
Go ahead.
say and have connections and speak in these panels amongst blacks
Yes.
is because anything and anyone can be black. That's why he
I'm
thinks
not
he can
black.
speak
I'm a
amongst you
mulatto. You don't
guys.
see my name? I'm not black.
That's
Hold
your
on,
I'm nothing like
idea,
hold
you.
though.
on.
That's your
You
idea.
I'm
guys
nothing
hear
like
me?
Pan
you.
African's idea.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
let
I'm
me
not
try to
black.
make. I'm trying to
I'm
make a
not black.
point with the guns. You notice he said that somebody said something about pistols and whatnot. Those times when they brought the guns and the first, they used to shoot people on sight just to kind of get them to understand the power of the gun. So when they would gather, this from Ghana. I'm from Ghana, so I'm just talking about Ghana. I don't know about anywhere else and what took place. So
Y'all was
when they
scared of the
gather,
white man guns? Just say it. Get to your point, brother. Y'all was
what?
scared of the white man guns. More of
You
y'all
know
should
that,
have
but you
fought
were
back,
saying
but you
something
chose
If
else.
not to.
somebody holds you at gunpoint right now, you'd be scared too. So I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
Hold
but
on.
about.
once
Listen,
you
This
see
is
how slow it
listen.
is to
If death is
reload,
imminent, you gotta
then
fight
you
for
can
your life.
attack.
When do we get
Exactly.
to some honest? When
You
do we
gotta
get
fight
the
for your
life.
life.
Listen, hold on, relax, okay? So
you're
they
not
used
about
to
to
be
say
able,
nothing.
they used to be able to put the guns there and would be able to leave. And because they have so again, you have to understand the psychology of the people at the time. We're
He is
talking about
retarded.
these
Bro,
people.
why
Hold
y'all
on,
so
hold on.
long-winded, bro? Just make your
He is
point, brother.
retarded. Hold on, no,
Like,
no, no,
God
no,
damn.
wait, no, hold on, wait. No, let him finish
Hey,
this retarded shit. No,
don't get
please.
me
All right,
started.
go ahead.
And
Make
start
it
calling
long with
yourself a
the
white boy
point,
Hey,
man.
and you're on
hey,
some
hey,
white boy
hey,
behavior
Mulatto,
right now.
God
please let
damn.
him finish this. Please let
All
him
right,
finish.
make
Okay?
it long with the
I'm
point,
not
man.
used to dealing with white boys like this. So
Let him say
don't
this.
start with
Yeah.
me.
Let him say
Okay?
I'm
this.
I don't deal with
I'm
white
not
people
used
like that. So don't start.
I'm not used to
Hey,
listening
If
to
it was
black
up
please
to
let
me,
him
you
excuses.
would
say
Can
not
you
be
be
this.
around
quiet
me
and
in
let
any
him
way,
Please let him
shape,
finish?
or
say this.
form, digital, physical, or any
Can
we
you
would
please
not be
finish
It's
that?
around.
hard for me to listen to black
All
excuses
right.
though. It's
So we
hard for
need
me
to
to listen.
calm
Come
your
on,
white
man.
self
Come on.
down.
Let him
Okay.
finish that. Give
One
him
You
mic.
thirty
need to
All
seconds.
right,
relax
all right.
yourself.
Make
I'm
your
not
black
one of your
excuses. Go ahead.
people. I don't play
One
with your
mic.
people.
Make your black
Okay.
excuses.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
play with mulattoes. I don't play with
Make
mix. I
your
don't play
African
with
excuses, brother.
biracial. I don't play with none of bi.
All right, make your African
So
excuses.
calm
Go
Can
ahead.
you
yourself and
please
relax
tell us
yourself.
about this gun?
Okay. First, we're speaking in 2025 with the ideas and knowledge that we have right now. Okay. Anytime you're dealing with the past, you have to be able to put yourself in the minds
Can
of
you
the
get
people
to
to
that gun stuff, huh?
What do you think I'm talking
Can
about?
you be quiet,
Hey,
please,
well,
and let him
tell us,
finish?
tell us.
Can you stop
What do you
interrupting
think I'm?
him?
Listen, if you have low retention, get a piece of paper
Hey,
and
pass
a
the
pen
mic. Anybody else
and
got a
write your
point they want
thoughts
to make?
down.
One of y'all make
Man,
y'all
that
point,
was very
please.
important, man. You stepped on it, man. Now he got caught up. He knew he was about to say some retarded shit. But what
No,
he
I'm
was
not. I'm
about to
just trying to
say
tell
is
you
that
guys
He
to
said the white
understand.
man set some guns down
listen
and
All
here,
right,
he
wait,
scared to
wait,
put the
wait,
gun
I
wait,
down.
wait a
already
minute.
know that they
I
would
didn't
do
Wait,
that.
wait a
mention
minute.
no.
Let's get
See,
to the right to the point
again,
so
I'm
we
trying to
can.
tell you something.
He's not
Who
really
mentioned
sharp.
anything about
He's
white?
not
I
really
never
sharp, so
mentioned
he
Let him
no
can't
white
land.
people.
talk.
Let him land his point,
I
please.
never mentioned no white people. Hey, white boy, relax yourself. I'm not talking about your ancestors.
All
Just
right,
go
Blackie.
ahead, bro.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, because
Blackie.
every time
No,
you
I'm
if you
African. I'm
insult him, he
African. Get that right.
interrupts
I'm
you.
African.
Go ahead, Blackie. Make your
You
point,
are
Blackie.
black and you're amongst black people in their
No, I'm
language.
not black.
You would
I'm not
not be
black
able
like
to
you.
speak
I'm
Come
not
around me.
on,
black.
bro. Let him go, bro. Stop being
I'll
tricky,
smack
bro.
that
No,
white out of you quick.
This shit important, huh?
You
I
would
no.
wish
not
he
Make
be
your
would come
point,
around
on
me,
the
Blackie.
okay?
camera.
I want to actually
All
hear
right.
the point. I really
I
want to
wish
hear
he
the
would
point.
come on the camera and say this.
Next
Come on,
speaker.
camera. Just
Camera
Because
is
listen.
not gonna do anything.
y'all back and
All right,
forth
guys,
insulting
we
each
got to
other.
move on. Hey, other people want to get in the chat, so let me. Somebody has to go.
Yeah, I'll drop off Donis.
Okay, all right.
Can I say this, brother? Can
Go
I?
ahead, Bobo.
All right, if I could just get like 2 minutes. What he was going to say is they would shoot somebody in front of you and then they would just leave the gun and they would be just scared of a random gun laying here. They scared to pick it up. He controlled them with just the gun sitting here. The weapon is sitting there and they were so afraid they wouldn't do nothing. They would just, the gun sitting there. Me, I'm going to pick the weapon up. That's retarded, man.
And that's what I'm
Anyway.
trying to tell you again. Understand the people and understand what
All
they're
right, I
dealing
got
with
you,
at that
bro.
time.
I don't give a fuck what era that's in. I don't
You
care what era
Ashanti,
that's in.
it's
I
the
don't
same
care
thing
what
you're
era
sitting
that's in.
here.
And that shows you white supremacy.
How did your ancestors say they couldn't left?
They looked at the gun as like Thor's hammer.
So
Thor
how
is
did
the
your
only
Exactly.
one
ancestors
that can
stay in
pick it up.
slavery for so long, for
Is you
400 years?
It's
retarded?
sad that people don't read and research
How did
in
your
Once they saw
ancestors
how
2025 with
slave
how
for
all
long
the
foreigners?
Young man,
access to
more
hold on,
people
once they
came out
information.
this panel.
They
But
just
let me
make
finish.
stuff up.
2 minutes.
How
So
were
I
you
once
can
they
guys
get
saw
slave
clear.
for
how long
400
it
years?
took to reload the gun, they didn't
How
even
were you
drop on
guys
them.
slave for 400 years?
Listen to what I'm saying,
Hold
though.
on. Africans
And there were
think the
just
white
two
man is
white people
Listen,
Thanos.
on the
he
plantation.
said like this is Thor's hammer. The
No,
white
there was
man can
only
set the
two
gun
people on the
down.
plantation with 40
He can
black
set the
people.
gun down and they
All
won't
right,
even
man.
touch it. Like
How
this
did you
Thor's
stay
hammer
in
or something.
slavery
Like,
for
come on,
400
bro.
years?
This is retardedness.
Hey,
Why the
Vovo,
Chinese
how
taking
were
your
your
country
Let
people
me
over
in
today?
slavery for 400 years?
Why the
the
Chinese taking over your country today and
torture,
you the majority?
Huh?
a system. Not. We was afraid to pick up the
They
gun.
couldn't run?
We've been picking up guns.
They couldn't run?
Being outnumbered. The
How
How
come
were
you
you?
system
got
that
You were
they
never
put in
colonized?
outnumbered.
place.
You were
Hey,
never
guys,
outnumbered on the
I gotta
plantation.
pass the mic.
But
BD,
bro,
go ahead,
I
BD.
didn't get my 2 minutes.
You were
I
never
pass it back to you.
outnumbered
Go
on the
ahead,
I
go ahead,
want to
BD.
plantation.
touch on the topic. Go ahead.
I get, bro. I got you. Go
Hey,
ahead, BD.
Dennis,
Go ahead,
they were
BD.
there was never
I
more
don't
white people on the
listen. It's
plantation.
BD, sir. I don't want. Go ahead, BD.
Hey, peace, Prince. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm not going to stay on the live too long. I just wanted to come in and just say peace to everybody on the chat.
Peace.
And I just had a little suggestion to you. Chrissy's voice is one of the most beautifulest voices I've ever heard in a long time. Like sometimes when she's talking, it sounds like she's speaking. So I just wanted to suggest to you, Prince, and only if she's up for it too. Maybe sometimes when you're running your commercials, maybe you can hire her to be like, to run your commercials because her voice is very angelic. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that. Peace to everybody on the chat, even you, Vovo Rants, and Pan Mulatto, and everybody else on the chat.
Peace, brother.
Peace to everybody,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right now. Peace.
I'm saying, Vovo,
peace, Prince.
how was
Can I
it
get this?
That
possible
was
that your ancestors stayed in slavery for 400 years?
Because they had a system in place.
And there was no
They
system in Africa?
torture.
We was outnumbered in the U.S. though. Vovo,
Hey,
get right
you were
to it. We was
never
outnumbered.
outnumbered on the
Listen
plantation.
to what I'm telling you.
We
They
was
had a
outnumbered.
You
system
were
in
never
place.
outnumbered on the
It
plantation.
was
Why
the
you lying?
law.
We
What?
was outnumbered in them states and them counties,
You
bro.
There
guys
was
were
a
That's just a
never
system
fact.
in place.
outnumbered
We
on
would.
any
God
plantation.
Hold
damn,
on,
man.
Vovo.
God
One
damn.
mic at a time. Let me answer this
Bro,
question.
what do you mean? He asked me a
We were
question.
never over
Bro,
20%
You guys are
of
wasn't
the
just
U.S.
white
wasn't
guy
a gun?
talking.
population.
Yo, white guy, don't talk
All
to
right,
me,
go
yeah?
ahead, Vovo. Go ahead.
Don't speak
Goddamn.
to me.
Yeah,
Don't
there was a
conversate with white
system.
people like that.
All right,
There was
Blackie. Go ahead, Blackie.
there was a system put in
And I'm
place where
African. Again,
if
you can speak because you
listen, bro,
think
you
you're
asked
black
me
like
a
these guys.
question.
Go ahead, Black.
Well, listen to what I'm saying. No matter what reason why we stayed in slavery for 20 years,
No,
you're
because
not
you
gonna
guys
set
were
no
weak
pistol
and soft
down
and
and
punk
walk
asses
away
to
from
stay
the
in slavery for
pistol
400 years.
and control the
You
whole
guys were
village.
soft
Period.
for 400
Period.
years. You were
Period.
soft
Y'all was
for 400
retarded.
years.
Yeah, but you got
That's retarded
colonized though
that you
by a
would even
few
say
though.
that.
So how's that
But
work out?
let me finish. Let me finish.
400
Let
years.
me finish. We were soft. Okay, cool. The name of the topic is "We Fight, We Don't Flee." that means exactly what it said.
Man, shut your
We had
talking shit
every
right now.
reason to run away from America.
You couldn't
Every
run.
reason.
You were scared.
Whatever reason you use to leave your country, we could use that same excuse. White people used to eat us.
Hey,
That's a
stop
fact.
your lies. Stop
That's
your
a
lies.
fact.
In the Congo, how many
They
people
used
they
to
kill in the
eat us.
Congo?
White
Millions
people
of
used
people
to
they
eat us,
kill
and
in the Congo. You know.
we still didn't run
And
Congo
them
away.
has nothing to do
Congolese
with
running
us.
away, bro. Them
Hey,
Congolese
white
running to
boy,
France,
shut your
Canada.
mouth.
They running
Shut your
Blackie.
mouth, white boy.
They running Blackie.
The
Why
I
Congo
don't
y'all
has
know
stay
why
nothing
in
to do
trying
with
to
Africa,
say
us.
white
Blackie?
people
Oh,
on this channel,
Blackie.
but
Blackie.
Oh,
He call me white boy.
oh,
I can't call him
Blackie.
Blackie.
I see the
don't
definitely
speak
see
on
the
him.
white
He
side
called
coming
me
out
white
in
boy.
you.
So
You
y'all
are
just gonna
white.
be hurt. Just be hurt then. Fuck
I
it. Y'all
told you
wasn't
that.
hurt
But,
when he
These
called me
but,
people,
whitey.
but, but, but mulatto, though, truth
Is
be
this a
told,
roast
though,
these
session?
you
Y'all
got
people,
roast session?
Blackie and
Y'all
Whitey
wasn't
in your
hurt when he
flag,
called me
though.
whitey.
you are white
Y'all
boy.
wasn't hurt when he called me whitey. So y'all be
Y'all,
black.
we got to stop with the name calling. But go ahead, Dave. It's your turn,
That's a white
Dave.
boy,
Go
though.
ahead.
I hear everything, and the main thing I figured out a long time ago is that both people right, and the only reason why they can't see both sides as right is because I know it's hard to believe, but the first contact between Africa, the peoples of Africa, and the peoples of America was not white folk. Literally, those ships were built as a military ship. It was built to spec to cross. Straight line is the fastest route. It was military, built to spec. And they had to do that because there was a war going on. And once you figure out who they were trying to fight, and I hate to say it, the African had to confederate with the European to liberate their lands.
What? So the white man had to sell it. Black
What
Africans
did
had
you
to sell
talk
their
to
own
liberate
people.
their land? They not
The
liberated today.
Negro, listen.
Oh my
The
God!
people who say that the Negro is native to America is correct. The people who say that there was a transatlantic slave trade is correct. The only thing that's not correct is that Africans selling Africans. They didn't sell Africans. They
Why
sold
Giannis
Negroes.
went to the slave castle?
Listen to me. The
Hey,
Africans sold the
learn the history
Negro.
of that
And
before
when
you
they
speak
ran
about that.
out of Negroes to catch, the European tried to turn on the African, but all the African did was set fire
All
to
right, now
the
you going down a whole
foundation.
nother. He going down a whole nother road.
That
I
sounds
know
like
where
some
you
I'm
Hebrew
trying to
going,
Israelite
tell
stuff.
you.
but he's
I'm
saying is
trying to tell you because y'all
what he's
sitting
saying
up.
that the Negroes was a
Can I
genocide.
talk? I sit here and listen to you ramble, not ramble, but express yourself for a
Hey,
long
General
time.
Dave,
I ain't
you
even got to
African or
20
American?
seconds.
You
All
African
I
or
need is
American?
10 more seconds. The main problem is that y'all can't conceive global trade before the white man.
I agree with you
It
on
That's
was
that.
the
always trade.
main problem.
It was
No
trade
matter
before
how
all of
much
that.
evidence that you see from it, and I'm wrapping up with this. If all of this ended today, when they dig up America, they gonna say it was Chinese because of all the goods of China that's here. So y'all go
Such
off
as
of
what
Pass
goods
the
of
mic,
everything.
China?
brother.
But what
Pass the
I'm
mic,
saying
brother.
is global.
Yeah, pass that mic,
You
brother.
have to understand that peoples from around the world were traveling the world, and peoples was moving back and forth before the white man had to build a military ship to topple an empire and go straight across the Atlantic because they had to reinforce faster than we could reinforce through the North Atlantic, hopping from Newfoundland, Greenland,
Truth be
Iceland,
told, most of
all
them
the way
they
over.
were not aware of the white man's
Look, he's saying
existence.
that's
What
the
is
middle
he
That's
path.
all
even
I'm trying to say.
talking about? I mean,
There's a truth. There's a
Oswald
truth
Bates.
about on what
And that's
Dave
why
is
y'all
saying.
Oswald Bates.
The history is
Oh my
bigger than what
This
you guys think it is.
clever
You know.
like that one. I didn't know what the hell he's saying.
There's a truth. There's a truth.
That
There's
was
a truth
another
on
level of
what he's saying. No, there's a truth on what he's saying because
you don't
if
even
you go to
understand.
Netherlands, okay, but
Nobody got that. That was a bunch.
like there was black people in Europe like a
Yes,
long time ago. So, and
yes.
there's a truth about what he's saying, but they were all Africans.
The European was
You
facing
talking
the
about
same
Chinese? You
problem
dig up
that the
America today,
African
you'll
was
find
facing.
Chinese.
The European was
Well, can we
facing
talk
the
about the
same
topic, though?
problem
Can
that
we
the
talk about the
African was
topic?
Yeah,
facing.
when do we stay on topic?
Too
Yeah,
Like
can we
many
talk about the
Negroes
topic, really?
across
all
the
Pan-African
ocean.
space is just all messy. I haven't met a Pan-Africanist yet that was not a troll, or that could really have an articulate conversation.
That's what it felt like. Really, that's what it felt like.
None of them ain't like
The
that.
translation of Pan-African to an African is literally the return of the Negro Empire. And you're not going to get that.
All right, but let's
Okay,
talk
You're gonna
about the
get that.
topic, though.
Dave,
Let's talk
Who in
about the
General,
topic.
history?
General,
It
Dave,
took all that time getting rid of the Negro to put them back on the other side of the Atlantic.
But
And now you
Dave,
talking about you ready to come back.
Dave, who in history was called a Negro?
The black man.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
black-
Who was
No,
called
no,
a
no.
Negro?
Do you even know why they call black? And even if you're African, they try to call you black?
Black
Because
is-
black was
black
a
is
military
Negro.
alliance
See,
between the
I know,
Negro
Black
I,
and
but
Negro
I
and
is
the
the
know that's how
same
you're
Africans to
avoiding
control the
answering the
Black
question.
and
entire
Negro is
Atlantic.
the same thing.
White
Literally,
people ain't forgot why they had to form their white
Bobo,
band.
black and Negro is
you
Bro,
the
right,
exact
bro.
same word.
Bro,
Hey,
Bobo,
hey,
he
hey,
developed.
General Dave, tell him one more time. What was black? Tell him one more time, General Dave. Tell him
Black
one
was the
more time.
military union of the Negroes and the Africans to control both sides of the Atlantic.
Dave, you so messy.
Bro. Oh, he didn't troll dude. Oh, he didn't troll dude. Oh, he didn't troll dude. Oh, yeah, he didn't troll dude.
Hey, hold on.
He ain't trolling.
Oh,
He
he
ain't
ain't
trolling.
trolling.
He about his business.
Yeah, he
Hey,
didn't troll
do that
dude.
shit again, General Dave. Let him know. Let him know, General Dave. Say it one more time.
He
Black
ain't trolling.
was the military union, if you want, whatever level of military it was back then, right? It was a union amongst the Negroes, which we want to basically say the majority of them were on the western side of the Atlantic Ocean, and the Africans, which were on the eastern side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Now, what would make a grown man just be an internet troll that would just come online just to like? What you
He ain't trolling. He ain't trolling. He trolling. He's talking about his truth.
And then it all sounds silly until you actually have to figure out why do they call themselves white.
Wait, pause real quick, Dave.
Why they call themselves white?
Dave, real quick, so I can get understanding, Dave. What is the difference between an African and a Negro?
I just told you.
No, I didn't hear it.
The homelands in which they're in. One is on the eastern shores of the Atlantic Ocean. The other one's native to the western shores.
So which one is the Negro? On the west or the east?
West.
And the other one is the African, right?
Correct.
What's the difference between the two of them?
You still confused with this explanation?
Just the lands in which they're native. What's the difference between the African and the Chinese?
We got your point.
DNA and weather.
So there's no difference.
Well, there's no difference between most people across this damn planet.
So it's kind of like the way the white man, the French came in and said there's Western Sudan and Eastern Sudan.
We're getting close to it, but now you have to explain. We know they're gonna call Africans and I call them Negroes black. Why did they need to call themselves white? Why? Because I know.
Well, tell us. Please tell us.
Because the Black Banner was kicking ass. The Black Banner was kicking ass. They had to unite for that. And then they fucked around after the Black Banner was doing real good. I hate, a lot of stuff good was done. Now, some bad things were done, but it turned to where the African was like, yo, all this stuff that America does now is just, it's recycled.
What is he talking about?
The Negro sold the whole premise of, hey, you could come to my land, I'll come kick it in your land. But we was over in Africa too deep, acting like we owned it. And eventually the African and the Euro just combined to where we got to get these Negroes back on.
Okay, so what
David's talking about the future. David's talking about the future right now. It's not the past.
Where did the Turks come in?
All right, now you said you would get it back to me, right? We didn't run. We didn't run. We didn't flee. We had every reason to flee.
You couldn't run. You couldn't
run
away.
Bro, let him talk. Go ahead, Volvo.
We had every reason to run away. We could have went anywhere to get away from these people, from these monsters, these devils. We could have went anywhere. We didn't run away. We didn't flee. And the reason why y'all here right now and y'all able to enjoy these civil rights and this running water,
because the CIA
road,
Who's y'all?
you able to get justice. It's because we didn't flee. We didn't run away. And the reason why y'all don't have that stuff in your homeland is because
why didn't you flee?
That's a lie. You have never been to Africa. You're talking about Bush right now.
That's why there's a brain drain in Africa.
How did you end up staying with the savages?
If all your star players leave your team, you're not going to win a championship.
Nah, they need capital, bro. I don't blame the Africans.
Bobo, you don't know what you're talking about.
I gotta pass the mic to Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan.
This is what I'm gonna say. The Africans didn't sow
his name is Ryan,
the so-called Negro into slavery.
Relax, man.
The reason I'm gonna say this is because most North American Negro or so-called Negro on the island or anywhere. They have been programmed by the American white man that Africans sold them into slavery. They read the white man history. The white man wanted to hire his own boss and told him that we sold him into slavery. We have our proof and evidence on the continent that the black man, the so-called Negro, was kidnapped. So he had been robbed of the knowledge of self, God, and culture, as Khalid Muhammad said. So he believed in whatever the white man told him. Say, oh, Africans sold you into slavery. We didn't sold you into slavery.
Y'all
I
did.
am an
Now
American
I
No,
got
white
you
man.
evidence.
didn't.
Bobo,
Listen,
listen.
listen,
Bobo,
listen,
We
listen.
listen.
definitely sold
Y'all did
I
Africans
try
am
into
to
listen
slavery.
retreat,
now,
bro.
listen.
The
I
Negro
am a
Empire was getting
descendant
out
of
of
freed
control.
American slave. My ancestors built North America, but I'm a proud African. And then we have proven evidence that we didn't sow the black man into slavery. That's
What
what I
is
want
it?
to say.
There was
What is
We
another
that?
believe in the
also
white man.
Bobo,
We
you gotta
trust in the
listen,
white man
Bobo.
Bobo, that
history
shit
that
don't
he
even
gave you
matter, bro.
more than what
No, I
white
got
man
All right,
evidence
gave.
that
You
they
believe in the white
did.
man history.
I'm gonna
You
tell
You
you
bro.
lying.
We
why.
trust
General
know
in
they
Dave
him.
did,
You
did,
ain't
bro.
bro.
got
General
no
Dave
We
His
know
has
they
evidence.
did.
zero
policies
Let's not go
evidence.
in
program you.
circles, bro.
Well, I made
Let
We
me.
my
I'm
know they.
surprised
No,
General
I can tell
Dave
you why.
knows
I
what
can make
day
it
it
real
is.
simple. I can make it real
I
simple.
made my
Right now,
point,
today,
so
the
somebody
white
can
man,
hear it.
the white man colonized the whole world. He cannot colonize Africa because his DNA is too weak. The white man cannot go into the interior of Africa by himself and start grabbing motherfuckers. Period. He can't do that.
Right,
The
the
Africans were
African
cold
help.
conspirators. It's too
The
hot.
African helped them.
From
Bobo,
Yes.
you
the
lying.
Negro,
You
from
have
those
never
Them
been
slave.
to
mosquitoes,
Africa. You
them
lying,
mosquitoes,
Bobo.
The
them
Africans
mosquitoes will
didn't
pull your ass
enslave
up.
Africans. They did. It was the
The white
Bobo,
Negroes when
man
they
The
ran
cannot
Bobo,
go
free.
Africans
into
Bobo,
the
sold
white
there's
man
no
Africans
cannot
truth
go
on
into
what
Hold
you're
on,
the
saying.
but
I
Vovo, let's
already
not go in that
posted a
circle. Let's
primary
talk about
source
the
of
day.
Bobo, there's no
we're,
truth on what
we're
you're
rehashing
saying.
the
You've
same
never been to
conversation we've
Africa.
already
you
had.
Yeah,
can't
let's
you
talk
Bro,
can't
about the
go
day,
into the
bro.
bush. He
All
Bobo,
can't
right,
go
but
no,
then
into the
Bobo,
bush.
you,
Africa
hold
yet.
on,
there's
one
no
mic,
truth
please,
on
one
what
mic.
you are saying right now. You've
One
never been
mic.
to
All right,
Africa, man. Come on.
I gotta read these super
God
chats.
damn.
Gotta read the super chats. Already all gas, no brakes. Thank you for the 499 holla. Have any of you FBAs been successful at getting their tribal membership? MMAP Guas Squad Gaming, $3 holla. Haiti knew their mulattoes were sellouts. TS, thank you for the $5 holla. Can Volvo present one primary
Checkmate.
source instead of reacting to everyone else? Landmark 22, thank you for the $2 holla. www.slavevoyage.org has actual records with names. Yeah, I saw that. I pulled that up on the stream before. Flavors of the Continent, thank you for the $10 holla. The Ashantis fought 100-year war against the British and defeated them multiple times. And yes, also manufactured their own rifles. The head skull of a British general is still in Kumasi today. U.S. lawyer, thank you for the $20 holla. The African race was imported and sold and held as slaves. No one of that race had ever migrated to the United States voluntarily. All of them had been brought here as articles of merchandise. U.S. Supreme Court, 1857. All right, go ahead, vote. Oh, Kato, let me pass the Kato.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead.
did get our membership. Yes, we
No,
do.
Bobo, I ain't nothing to say.
But hold up, just in regard to the slavery conversation, we've already had an entire live stream where I posted a primary source of a Fulani prince who was sold into the United States and released into Liberia. So there's not an argument about Africans being here or Africans selling Africans. Do you guys have any sources of your Negro versus African or
Yes,
Native
yes, I
American history?
definitely do. Yes, yes.
Bro,
And
Who
deflection.
created
Post
the
them in the
website?
chat.
the
The
Diners,
white man.
the
Ask
Diners
him to
already know what I'm
tell
Why
going to
me
did you
say.
who
ask him
created
that, bro?
the website. I go and
Okay,
Google.
hold on. Let that was for. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead. Respond.
Yes,
Go ahead.
and everybody on the panel and on the chat can get this information right now, the fastest thing ever. All you have to do is type in Google and type
Don't
in.
say talk about the Google
Hey,
image
Listen,
thing. No,
let
no, 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 no,
hey,
no.
no, let him.
I
Let
Hey,
him.
just
bro.
can I
Go
get
ahead.
this
Please
out?
let him go, because I'm trying to get in
No,
next. Please let him go.
Thank you.
no,
That's
General
all I'm.
Dave. If
This
you
is the
say Google
fastest thing
image,
ever. It's 10 seconds. Type
Go
in
ahead.
slaves for sale and click on image. Every single image, it comes from Harvard, it comes from all education, all known knowledge. Every bill of lading says Negro captured in Africa for
All
sale. You will
African that
never
was sell.
find any documentation of sales saying an African caught in Africa for sale. So
yeah, that is the
explain to
They
me
dumbest
were not
to
calling them
me
lie
how a
African. They
ever.
were
Negro and
calling
an
them
African
Negroes
are
when they
Hey,
captured
hold on.
them.
Hey,
Come on, what you talking about?
I just
Everybody,
Googled
let's
it.
move
I just
on.
Please
Googled
let's
it.
move
I'm on the
forward.
desktop. I'm on the desktop.
All right.
No,
So
let's
I
just
got
move
I got
on.
multiple screens right in front of me. I just
Hold on,
Googled
but
that.
Vovo,
Now
you heard me
every
trying to get in,
hold on.
Vovo. You heard me trying to get in, goddamn.
Go ahead, look
And
at it.
it'll be brief. With all
Slave
due
for
respect,
sale.
can
He's
we
probably
talk
talking
about the
about
day?
anecdotal evidence, but he's not talking
The
about
Let's talk
Negro is
about.
not
twofold.
traced to any
All right,
landmass.
bro.
It's
But let's
always
talk
gonna
about the
say
day.
Negro captured in
Now, I
The
Africa.
do want to ask Dave a
Negro is
question.
not
Go
traced
ahead.
to any
I do want to ask
landmass.
Dave a question.
All
Now,
right,
we're
but
not
Hold
yeah,
on,
all right, let me
that's some of
go.
the dumbest
Let
stuff
me go.
The
he
Negro
I'm
is
said
about to
on
not
the
get it
live
traced
now.
to
stream.
Now the
any
point is this.
landmass.
Now, ADOS FBA, you see these immigrants in your country playing in your face. Why you don't buy real estate in their countries? Simple question. Any ADOS FBA on the panel
Why
can
you
answer
guys
that.
let this white guy keep talking?
Well, most
All right,
SBA
Blackie,
people
mute up. I
can't
wasn't
afford to
talking to
buy
you.
You
no
know
real
what?
Yeah,
Ain't
estate.
okay, yeah,
nobody
I'm
no
glad.
African,
I'm
bro.
glad he
Ain't
said that.
nobody, bro.
Why do we have
Nobody
this
wants to
mulatto
leave
person
America,
making
bro.
fun
That's
of
just a
black
bad.
people
I
on a
mean, no,
black chat?
nobody wants to leave America, bro. That's just a
Because
bad
you
thing.
can't stop me.
No. Pause. Like, deadass.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
you
have that
mulatto.
dialogue.
You don't identify as black. Why are you in
I'm
this
not
space
black. What's your
disrespecting
point?
black people?
I'm
All
just,
right, bro.
they
Listen,
called me
stop
white.
being
Hold
so
on, let me
serious
answer
about
that.
No,
this
because every
phone,
time
bro.
he
Brother, let
calls
me
him
answer
blackie,
that.
he's making fun of me too. What's
Man,
wrong
come
with being
on,
black?
Donis,
All right,
man.
well,
I
take
know
it
it's hard to
I
personal.
be
just something
group.
that's interesting. That's
Take
That's
it
something that's
exactly what I'm
personal.
gonna do. Stop saying
Well,
that
take it
shit.
personal.
something that
Cry
I
about
will,
it.
bro.
Cry about it. Fuck it.
okay.
Now the
Let me
question
ask
is,
Dave this.
they're
Dave,
playing.
Weirdo.
No, brother. Back to the question. They are playing in your face. They got real estate
Nobody
and
bro,
they
cares
got.
what your
nobody's
They
going to
got.
self-hating
Africa,
ass
bro.
has to
Nobody's
say.
going to
Stop.
All right,
Africa.
Stop
brother.
Have
You're
talking.
at it,
lost.
Stop
bro.
talking.
The question is
Have
this:
at it.
they
Stop
own real
talking.
estate in your country. Why you don't buy real estate in their countries, in
Nobody's
Africa and the
interested in
Caribbean?
that, bro. No,
Why don't you
nobody's
But it's
say
the
interested
Nobody
in
why
that.
cares
topic.
what you
contribute
have to
our
It's the
say.
country? Why
topic.
you
Let him
say
Well, I
answer
our
got
it.
an
country
answer
is
for
Nobody
that.
All right,
cares
go
what
Because
ahead.
you
I
have
ain't
to
gonna,
Let,
I
say.
let
ain't
him
You's a
gonna
talk.
argue
weirdo.
and
I
say
don't know
because
why
that's
you in a
every
black
time
Let
space
him
you
making
talk.
fun of
that's
black
right.
Answer
people.
the question, bro, because
All right,
nobody
Blackie,
cares.
go ahead. Cry about it, bro. I'm
Yeah,
I
asking
because
got
a
you're
an
a
simple
answer
question.
for
Hey,
that.
depressed
hey,
person.
I
hey,
got a
hey,
total
hey,
answer for that.
what mic is the whole socket? Hey, Pat Mulatto, stop it. All right. Again,
They
respectfully, stop
disrespecting
it.
me, calling me
Let
white.
me,
I can't respond. Y'all gonna
Okay,
cry about it?
so hold on. So don't call him white, don't call him blackie.
I mean,
Let's
really?
move on.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, his
let me
mother is
ask
white.
Dave a question. Now,
He
Dave,
came out
My
as a white
mother,
what,
my
man.
mother's not white.
I
My
wanted
mother's
to
a
Dave,
answer
mulatto.
the
Go
dude
ahead.
question why we don't buy real estate and all of that.
nobody's interested in
Very
Africa,
Let's
bro.
no,
get to,
no, no, no,
let's
no.
get
You
to
don't.
that part.
I get no. You don't speak for every, especially the African Americans in
Well,
Chicago.
you'd be there.
African
So
Americans
let
in
him answer.
Chicago are looking for.
Vovo,
Listen,
let him answer. Vovo, let him answer.
listen.
Go ahead, Shy.
We're trying to pool the money to invest, which means that we need somebody to tell us on a consistent level because we want to have a mutual fund of bonds. So we
Okay,
want to
you
buy
always talking about bond.
bonds
It's not bond. So if you want to
and use
invest in
the
Senegal,
interest,
you call it
use the
something different.
interest from y'all bonds to buy land in y'all naira currency. That's what we want to do. We want to
Okay.
be able to use our 401k every 2 weeks and invest in more and more of y'all bonds. And then when we get the interest, we talk amongst each other and start investing and buying real estate using that cash flow as what you need for an actual loan for real estate. Next
How do
question.
you buy? How do you buy land in Africa?
Next question, please.
No, I'm asking. That's the question.
No, no,
How
no.
do
That's a good question, though. I would like to
yeah,
know that
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah.
That's a good
He
question.
Okay.
don't.
So,
Hey,
so I can tell you, I'm from Africa. I
That's a
can answer
complete,
that.
that's
Did
a
y'all hear what I
completely,
said?
All
I
right,
can
man.
yo,
answer
All
that.
right, bro. Come on, bro. You
one
let this
mic.
guy babble.
That's a
We need
completely,
bonds and mutual funds.
that's a completely different show. Go ahead, Kato. Go ahead, Kato. Unmute yourself, Kato. Unmute yourself, Kato.
Oh my bad. I mean, I already said my major part. Like, I'm just waiting for them to like argue their side or like bring out like more particularly like Volvo in terms of what's the actual title of this live stream. What's the difference between like Africans and Caribbeans trying to like find better lives for themselves and the great black migration, and why are we harping on like calling them tethered
Exactly. Exactly.
instead of like working
Could I
together?
talk now? Can I answer that? The
Yeah, of
Great
course. My bad.
Migration. I'm a product of the Great Migration. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I got family all over the country.
Yeah.
The thing is this: we didn't leave the country. If
We
I
didn't.
move from one side of China to the other side of China, I'm still in China. If I
still
move from one side of Nigeria to the other side of Nigeria, I'm still in Nigeria. We
Right.
didn't flee the country.
Wait,
We
so
didn't run away from our homeland.
wait,
We
so
didn't
like
run away.
since
It was
Puerto Rico,
black people all over the country.
wait, since
If
Puerto
you
Rico is an American territory, do you consider consider Puerto Rico?
No,
here?
it's an American territory. It's different from being a part of the country. The name of this country is called the United States of America. If you're not a state, you're not a part of this country. Y'all, what grade did y'all drop out in?
It's not that, man. You got to understand the CIA vetted all immigrants. And so you're not going to break through the training.
I'm going to ask you something that's really edifying.
What you're saying make total sense.
Who, me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. They know what you're saying make total sense.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
but
they do.
You have to understand what you're saying today is CIA going back on who they let in because they going against what the interest was. This is the same thing. You're trying to get people who depend on not telling you, yeah, you're right, to say you're right. No.
Dave,
It
let
just
me
seems
ask you
it
this.
seems kind of like duplicitous
The
or like
information you presented
dishonest.
was very interesting to me. Now I'm trying to edify myself because I'm not just here to teach, I'm here to learn. So let me ask you this, Dave. You told me to Google this. I Googled. I'm probably the only one that did look it up.
Yeah.
Because I like to study.
Yeah.
Now, what you're saying is your ideology is that the Negro and the African are two different people, huh?
They may have had, it's like cousins.
And they grabbed the Negroes because they knew that was a different
Listen
tribe.
to him. It's like cousin.
It's like cousins.
No,
Yeah,
what I'm
you know
asking
what I'm
is,
saying? Like you got the
He has
same grandma
no
or whatever
primary
the hell.
documentation.
General Dave, are you a
what
Hebrew
you're
Israelite?
saying is
Hamakam.
you kind of contradicting your point. But all right,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Like
General Dave, are you a
you
Hebrew
ain't
Israelite?
contradicting. Oh,
I be
General
in some
Dave, for your
chat
question
rooms.
about the Quran, I want to answer you really
I be in some
genuinely.
chat rooms where they
Bravo,
believe
you gotta listen
Negro
now.
and the African are two different people, like totally different, like a white man and a Chinese man. There's some people that believe that. So that's what I thought you believed. But if you're saying that,
Nah. Like at this point, like after all these hundreds of thousands of years, Negroes and Africans been banging each other, for a long, long time. So it's real hard to say, oh man, you ain't got no African in you, you ain't got no Negro in you. I'm just telling you, like
He has
the
no
homelands. I'm
documentation
just
of
telling
it.
you the
man,
homelands
what
and
a
how
waste
all
of
this
time.
stuff
What a waste of time. I thought, what a waste of time, bro.
because
General
it was
Dave,
some
I
type
got
of
something to
You
say
division
said
real
over
Google
quick.
this.
somebody, and
You was
it's
talking
not
about
there. It's not
what
there.
you said was this. You said Google this. It says
Yes.
Negro sold from Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to say that Negroes and Africans are different, and the reason why they grabbed these Negroes is because they knew that this was a different tribe, living similar to each other.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was
you
bigger
can't
than
say that
that.
and then say we're
He said their cousin, man.
It was
you
bigger
can't
than
say
that. The global trade was already going on, so there were Negroes over there while we had a banner of a Negro empire. The
I
same way there
don't
was Africans over in
know
America
why we keep letting this man talk. Like this is
while they was
so
over in
ridiculous.
America. Like y'all
This is
acting like
so
people wasn't
stupid.
traveling.
He has no
Don't worry,
proof.
y'all gonna figure it out once that
He's
ice
talking
agreement
about
is made. And y'all
mythology.
gonna see how
We
many
Can
have
I give you
artifacts
guys
multiple
some history
is
sources
right
there
now?
under
of
that damn
Africans
ice. And you're gonna say,
saying
wait a
they've
minute,
been
how can
sold.
all these artifacts from everywhere be
Dinus,
here?
can I say
No,
something
it
real
They
quick?
ain't.
said that they were African. Like I'm getting
Just
real
wait.
tired of this conversation.
Just
Hey,
wait.
There's documentation of the Stono rebellion where Congolese Africans have a rebellion. It's not up for debate. The Africans who were sold said that they were African. You have zero sources of Negro Native Americans or Negroes who aren't Africans doing
Okay,
this.
you're talking to somebody who actually does have a passport. Now you need to go into the Louvre. You
What
need
does
to
a
talk
passport
about
have to do with what I
no.
just said?
You need to argue with the Louvre. And
Hey, but
everybody
Kato,
in France,
don't
because
go
they
back
got
and
all
forth on
type of
that, bro.
artifacts saying this is the nation of the copper colored people. Okay?
No, like at a
Yeah,
certain point,
Kato,
it's
you're
Don't
just
ignorant.
argue with me.
Just don't
You
go
need
back
to
and forth
argue
on
with the
that.
Europeans and what they have
yo,
collected.
Dinus, can I say something quick?
Copper colored people.
like
Can
it's
I say
so
something?
stupid. It's disrespectful at a certain point.
Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
You see, when we talk about the whole slave thing, all eyes point to Ghana, right? And then Ghana has 40 castles and then the dungeons under there. So all the people that was captured, all from all over the continent, was all sent to Ghana to be shipped out. But when you're reading the history, all the blame, or at least 90% of the blame, is pointed to Asante. And the reason why Asante is demonized is because Asante, like somebody said with the super chat, was the one that gave the European most trouble. Nowhere in history, to my knowledge, as of now, has any group of people fought the British and cut off the general governor's head off. Only Asante was able to do that. We fought
No,
with them.
American blacks. Nat
Hold on,
Turner
hold
used to
on.
cut heads off.
Shooting the fuck
The,
out the
the,
damn
the
British
governor
in
general,
America.
the
Did
general.
they lose in America?
Hold on, let him make his point, though,
Hold
please.
on.
Shit, we shot the fuck
So
out them.
just calm down, okay? You can have your turn. So all the blame is put on Asante. At one point, the British got people from Nigeria, Burkina Faso, present day, but just present day names I'm using, from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Jamaica, the First World War. All these people were brought to what we call Ghana today to fight Asante, including all the tribes in Ghana. All of them sided with the British to fight Asante. That's when
Sound like Asante Negro.
What'd you say?
It sound like Asante might be
Now don't
Negro.
go on that tangent, brother. Please make your point, my African brother.
So
Please.
all the blame is put on Asante, but all of that is a lie. They just want somebody to blame. And again, I just told you,
You
all the
must be
people that was
Ashanti.
give me pardon.
You must be Ashanti.
I am, and I'm telling you the history. So again,
Tell me
the
the history.
Oyo, hold on, give me 1 sec. The Oyo Empire produced how many so-called slaves? All the other people, how much did they produce? And if you read the history, you find out that everybody was bringing people from where? All over Africa to be shipped from where? But why is it that everybody says the Ashanti Empire is the one that was
Nobody's on
killed?
here blaming Ashanti.
I'm talking
Let
about
the home,
history. No,
let the
I'm
home
not talking
cry.
to you directly. Relax. I'm just giving you history. In the
Right.
broad history, Asante is the one that's being blamed, that's called out all the time, because that was the most dominant force against the European. You understand? I know you don't agree with it, you don't like it. That's just how, even in Ghana today, everybody that sided with the European still pointing fingers at the ones that was fighting against them with the European. So this whole world has its hands pointed at Asante. There's a documentary right now on YouTube. It's called Salaga. Salaga is in the northern part of Ghana. That's where they used to capture the people and has the slave market. It's Salaga, Salsaga. Salaga. There's 2 parts of the series online. The man will give you names of the 3 people that was doing all the kidnapping and all of that stuff. Has nothing to do with Asante, but everybody and every history always points its finger at Asante. And I'm just trying to put that in people's head when you're reading.
I don't
Also try
blame
to
the
find,
Africans.
hold on. Again,
Now that I found the
learn the
truth.
history and see why was the Asante fighting the British and how long, how many years they were fighting. And a lot of things will make sense to you when you read.
Yeah, because when they ran out of Negroes to catch, they turned on the African. But the
But
African was
we
able
are
to
going
win.
to ignore
The
that.
African, it was way
He has no
harder
That's
for
not
proof.
what I'm talking about,
I
but
know, I know that's not what you're talking about.
What's the difference between a Negro and an African?
He don't know what he's talking about. The
Yeah,
difference
Volo,
is the
Listen,
please.
dear
difference is only
cousin,
one
you don't
Negro.
listen.
Can you hear me, Bobo?
I guess maybe one wore a
Yeah,
feather and then
when
the
they
other
ran
one
out of
One
Negroes,
is on one side of the Atlantic, native to the one side of the
when
damn
you
Atlantic.
said when you said that they ran out of when
the other
Africans
And
one
their
ran out of
cousin, right?
Negroes, they
On
started killing
their cousin, right?
It's crazy. One is native to the western side of the Atlantic Ocean.
I'm gonna tell you something that
Yeah,
a
The
real
other
African
native
know.
to the eastern
A
side of
real
the Atlantic
a real
Ocean.
African know the difference. And there's some real Africans in here that know that there may be one in here that know. And that but they gonna try to no, we're cousins. No, them
And black,
Hamites. Them
and
Hamites.
black.
They
That black
Hamites.
barrel.
They Hamites. They
Man,
know
so
that.
much
Please
slavery.
let me get in
So much
right quick.
slavery. So
oh,
Please
much
let me get in
slavery
right quick.
you
happened
one
under
of
the
them
black
Bible
Again,
man.
guys.
we're having another sourceless conversation. If you
And
click
y'all
on the
trying to
link
figure
in
out,
the
Yeah,
chat,
family.
okay, this ain't
Please.
guys,
sourceless.
if you
Explain
click
to
on
me
the link
what
in the chat,
explain to
there's
me
a
the
link to
necessity
Stono
of
All right.
Rebellion in South
explain to me the
Carolina. The
necessity of the
Stono
white
Rebellion
lie.
was one of the earliest slave rebellions in the United States, and it's by Congolese and Angolan people. This
Oh,
is
that was good.
another
That's good
primary
information,
reference
Kale. Good
of
information.
Africans
But what
and the
does
Please,
that
United
please
mean
States.
hold on,
when you
Bobo,
post
hold on,
that? What
please.
does that
Let me
mean?
get in right quick. It'll be brief. To all the ADOS FBAs listening, buy real estate in foreign nations, particularly Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America, Southeast Asia. But much love.
But
Thanks
you
for having me,
scared to
Dr.
go to
Atlas.
Africa. How
Peace,
can you
family.
buy a land if you can go there?
Ham Mulatto is an imperialist. He doesn't identify
I
as
say
black. He
don't
doesn't
buy land over
identify as
there. Don't
white.
buy land over there. And I see too many videos online where the Africans are breaking in their houses,
No, 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 no. It's the Americans
all that.
scamming the Americans, man. Let's talk about it.
No, they showing where they outside of the house crying and Africans running in and out.
Nah,
What
nah,
is
nah,
that
nah, nah,
right
nah.
there?
I did see, I did
It's the
see that.
Americans
I did
doing
see
Yeah,
this.
that.
yeah. You
No,
saying
no,
that?
no.
You saying
I'm
that?
telling
That
you
ain't
the
no
truth.
Yeah, I
I
saw
can give you like
that ain't
proof
I
right
ain't
nothing.
now.
mad,
And
but
the
you know,
fact that
dynasty
you
Listen,
would
shows
say
some
that,
I can give you real proof
that's
right
just
now. It's
you a person.
Americans.
that's
You
just
Trust
you
me.
you
No,
that's
one
outliers, man.
one minute
I
you
can
say
tell
that
you
your
the truth.
cousins
I
and
can
all
give
that
you
and
proof
saying
if you want
African.
to listen.
Then now the Americans are
Bobo,
over there scamming. See, he
Bobo.
talking out both sides of his neck.
No,
He
no, no,
talking
no,
out
no.
both
I'm
sides.
telling you.
You
No, no. Ghana's know what
I'm
I'm
trying
talking
to tell
about.
y'all both right. I
Ghana's
just
know
don't
what I'm
understand
talking about.
what happened when the empires stopped.
I got court documents with me. I can show you if you want.
You can do what?
We can see the videos of a black American going over there building a house and shit like that. The Africans breaking in the house right in front of his face, running out with his shit, and the police standing right there and ain't protecting him. Like what fool would go
Yeah,
to
but
Africa?
I also saw diners at like 1 o'clock in the morning on like a damn hill in a Nigerian city, kicking and eating food, saying, "Hey man, you're all good here." And everybody was kicking it. So what are you telling me, man?
Man, I'm saying that's the tourist destination where he was
Well, I
at.
want to stay in the tourist
Why
destination.
would we go to
This
war?
Destination. That's
Nobody
about
conversation,
lives
Philly.
anywhere
Like,
Why
this
would we go to
is
war
not
conversation
going to
ain't
be
Philly?
the
even
best. Like, what are
real.
we talking
Come
about?
on, Volvo.
This
Why
conversation
is
ain't
Philly
even real
tourist
because we're
destination?
not talking about
Now,
ones and
this live
twos.
stream
We're
is not
talking
about the
Hold
Pan
on, wait.
Africans. This live stream is about the FBAs. Y'all need to start explaining stuff. Like, we've been explaining
Why
stuff
we
this
gotta
entire
explain
time.
something to you?
What is the
I
name of the
Thirsty.
title?
Y'all just
What?
wanna y'all
Volvo,
want
Volvo,
our
Volvo,
attention. Yeah,
Volvo,
it's
Volvo.
always
Hey,
What
about
is
us.
the name of the
what do you
title?
want to
Volvo,
It's
know?
what is the name of
always
the
about
title?
us. It's
What
What
always
is
do you
the
gonna be
want to
title?
know,
about us.
Kato? What do you
It's
want to know?
always about us. It's
What is the
always gonna be
title? What is
about
the
us.
title of the live stream?
Y'all made this whole Pan African thing about
Why
us.
we ain't running?
What is the title of the live
Why
stream?
Why
why
we
we
ain't
ain't run
running?
away?
Why is Mac and
Why
Okay,
we
then
Ronald?
ain't
get to
run away?
explaining. Get to
Well, I
explaining. Thank
already
you.
did.
We
I
already
already did.
explained. You just got here.
That should be
Yeah.
no. That should be the focus of the conversation.
Yeah.
It's been that
No,
way,
he
bro.
wanna keep it
You
on
just
us
got
because he don't
here.
wanna
Hey, Volvo, I
wear
got a
that
Don't you
question
shame
for
of
you.
Because you
understand?
guys fully haven't explained what's the
What
He don't
don't
difference
want to
you
wear that
between
shame.
understand? Ask
African
a question.
Americans trying to find a better
He
life
don't
and
want to wear
Africans
that
and Caribbeans.
shame. He don't want to wear the
Volvo, can I
shame
ask
of
you a
filling in
question?
his country. It's a
Hey,
shame there.
Volvo, Volvo.
That's me.
I'm just trying to get you to explain something to me, right? Because all the time when I listen to you, keep saying Africans didn't do this, they couldn't do that, and all this stuff, right? It was just the late 1800s when the European was able to fully show their dominance with the new weapons they developed. So my question to you is: yes, at some point from 1884 when they did the Berlin Conference with all the new weapons, they were not betraying each other, selling the weapons behind each other's back for the
Right,
Africans to have those new weapons,
right.
right? So I'm asking you, during those 300 and some years, 400 years under bondage, what did you guys do to protect yourself, and why were you not able to overthrow your oppressors, the savage?
Well, let
Oh,
me. Okay.
easily we outnumbered,
Hold on,
totally
hold on.
outnumbered.
Let Volvo answer that for me, please.
Well, it wasn't 400 years. It was like 270. Just by the
It
way,
was how much?
about 270.
Okay,
Um.
got that.
Okay, you got that part. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a slave rebellion every day in America. Every day.
I'm not
May
talking
not be a
about rebellion. I'm talking about actual being who defeating the monster. How
I
come you
just
were not
told
able
you
to defeat?
outnumbered, bro.
You were
That's
never outnumbered on the plantation. There was more black people on the plantation than the Europeans. Every plantation. You
what do
guys
you
know
mean?
that.
You mean to tell me there were more Negroes?
He just
You
arguing in
tell me
bad
there was
faith.
more
He's
Negroes in
arguing in bad
America?
faith. And he
No,
doesn't
no.
want the answer, so
On each
I'm not even
plantation.
gonna play
Again,
with you.
In
the
America,
I'm not even gonna
rebellions you
play
can
with you.
speak of, they
I'm
on
not
a
even gonna play with you.
plantation.
can
The
Here's the
you
bottom
rebellions,
line. I'm not even gonna play
yeah,
with you.
but on the
no,
plantation, there's still more hundreds of thousands of other people, bro.
Bruh,
no, the rebellions
right.
You
you
Outside of it,
outnumbered.
right.
At
Can I
least
the
10 to 12 to 1. Like, what?
can I answer the question, bro?
Oh,
sure,
you
go
man,
ahead.
we ain't Rambo.
Hey
Oh,
yo,
my
Cap
bad.
Can
General,
I,
just hold on one second.
My bad.
here's the answer. Without you
I
cutting me
told him
off.
the answer, man. We were outnumbered. I don't know what he
Yeah,
wants.
he know that already though. He
Right.
know
I
that.
know, man.
And
Maybe that's a
hold
silly
on,
On the
question.
plantation,
and there was an we were outnumbered and there was a system set in place. And if you leave the
You get a
plantation,
system
come off
called
the
God.
plantation,
God plus
there,
guns equals justice.
bro,
And we got
goddamn,
more
dang,
Let
guns
Volvo
dang,
and more
speak.
dang.
people. Like,
Quiet for a
why is
second.
he asking me
One
so?
mic.
I mean,
hey,
like,
that
are
nigga
you?
I'm
high.
stopping you from going all detailed about a simple question that he should have never
He's
asked.
high, man.
I'm trying to
Let
save
Volvo
you. I'm
speak,
trying
Oh,
bro.
he
to
high. Oh, he high. All
save
right. It is Friday, a lot of motherfuckers. I stopped drinking, so I don't get high no more. Huh? But yeah, goddamn, I guess that's what it is. Motherfuckers high. But
No, it's numbers and guns. Like, this is the most easiest question ever.
So why is it that you guys can say numbers and guns, right?
what?
You say numbers and guns, and I'm
Yes.
Listen,
saying
bro.
on
Listen, bro. I know you're embarrassed because you're 99% of the population, and they can dominate you like that. That is embarrassing. I get it, but don't try to have your identity crisis embarrassment on us.
no,
That's
Volvo, hold on.
y'all.
Look,
Y'all are
Volvo,
99% of
Volvo,
the population with the shit
Volvo,
that you need
Volvo.
in
I
the
just
ground
gave
under
you
your feet.
give me Volvo. Look, I just gave you a little bit of history. You see, Ghana, part of Ghana was called Gold Coast. Asante was not part of Gold Coast. See,
Listen, bro,
Ashanti Empire.
all
Hold on,
these
hold on,
names and
Bobo. Hold on.
semantics and all that.
It's
Right.
not again. See, I'm giving you history, and you're there talking about
No,
semantics.
what we're talking
There was
about is
Gold Coast.
reality.
Hold on. There was Gold Coast. The map of Ghana right now. Those people that was on the shore were Gold Coast, right? Asante was its own entity. That's why if you look up Asante's flag, we have our own flag and everything like that. You
Let
understand?
me say this
So,
just for
Okay.
the
Okay.
record.
Hold on. He just telling
hold
you
on,
information, man. It's good information.
right? So, again, I'm just telling you, it's not everybody that was dominated the way that you've been reading.
Yes, it
If
is,
the
bro.
history
Let me
is
say this.
okay, no
Let
problem.
me
Go
say
on,
this.
go on.
Listen to what I'm telling you. If you can't take advantage of your resources and your country is a third world country, they're dominating you. I know you want to you want to use this fantasy and this coping mechanism. Oh no, it's not like that. It's not like that. You, in order to fix a problem, you have to acknowledge that it's a problem. They're dominating you. You can't take advantage of your resources. You can't build anything. You have to run away. Literally, have to flee your people. You're
And
being
you're still in
dominated.
bondage, and you are still in bondage
How am I in bondage, sir?
Wait, bro.
because you
What
are
does
in a
bondage look
system.
like?
I
You are
think
in a
all of us are
system.
in
Let me answer
bondage.
the
All
question
of
for
us
you.
are in
Everybody is in
bondage.
this system.
No, no.
Why do
Exactly.
See,
you think they can sanction China, a whole nation? They
no.
can
Let's not
sanction
bring
a
China
whole
involved.
nation,
Let's not bring
and
China.
now
We're
they
not
shut down
Chinese.
China.
We are not
They
Chinese.
just put tariffs on
See,
China.
look,
China shut down.
Volvo, you have been in America from its foundation, correct?
Before
Yeah,
this was even
yeah.
called
So
America.
again,
But yeah, go
follow
ahead.
me
Yes,
for
yes,
one sec,
correct, correct.
okay? Just follow me one sec. You have been in America, built America, and all of that, but yet as today, you have no political power, you have no
That's not
power
true.
in
What
the
are you
structure of
talking about?
America.
You gotta stop that, dog.
Okay,
Like
so no,
every single,
hold
if
on,
you took every single, hold on, I got this, Bobo, and it's gonna be real fast.
enlighten me with the
This
power
one
that
of
you
them
have in
silly
America.
questions. If you took every single African American here and added up what they have, we're definitely in the G10. We average like about $40,000 a year.
What does that mean?
That means we make a lot more than you.
Yeah, but you have no power making more than
What do
me.
you
That
mean
means
have
that
no power?
we're some of the top earners on the planet.
And
Spending
I don't
power,
get it because
spending
normally,
power
let's
is
listen,
not
hold on.
power.
This is the funny
When you
part.
say political power,
And
what
this
do you
is the
mean?
problem.
Hold on,
Instead of
listen,
saying,
bro.
So let
wow,
me
we
clarify
need
my
for you
question.
all to be able to buy our bonds and it
No,
will stabilize the Naira's currency. And you
buying
dual
power is not
investment,
power.
you're a
Bro, this
hater.
dude and
You're
his
a
No.
hater.
bond.
And you
General,
should be saying
General, I'm
When
not
you
a
His
say
hater.
bond right here.
General,
when
I'm
you
not
buy
a
General
hater.
Nigeria's
Dave
when
bond.
you
monetary,
say
boom, you're a
political
hater.
power, let him explain that, bro. When
Okay,
you say,
so what I'm saying is right
bro,
now,
but you
right?
so long. Your question is just go
Volvo,
ahead,
just
go ahead.
relax. I know I
Nah, bro,
sound like a hater, but I'm telling you, I'm not a hater. I
you
might
are.
sound like that,
It
but I'm
is.
not.
You
Go.
are. The reason why I
So
sound
It
like that,
is. It
let's
is. And
dialogue.
that's why I
that's
sound
why
like that.
I don't
Man,
judge
come on.
all of countries based on what
General,
That's
General,
why,
hold on.
bro.
it
I've never
seems like
really had a
General,
you're
I
conversation.
know you
here
just
to
took a couple
stop
of
One mic,
talks.
one mic, one
investment
mic.
in
I
Africa.
know you just took a couple of talks.
How
Let me
could you
just
tell
have
us?
a
How
little.
could you tell us to invest in Africa and then tell us we're
I
the
never
poorest
told you
thing
to
ever?
invest anywhere. Nobody said that.
See, there you go. There
Volvo. So
you
let me
go.
just
You
talk
don't
to
want us
Volvo
to
for one
invest
second. I know
anyway.
you just
So
spoke a
what is
little
the
bit. Just relax.
purpose?
I know you're
What is the
twitching. Just
purpose? You don't
relax.
want us to
Calm down.
invest.
Volvo, you make money and you spend the money, right? That's not power. As a unit, there is no political power. The black people in America, if I'm wrong, you get it. I'm gonna let you again. I want to learn from you. Just hold your peace, right? The power that I'm saying that you lack as a people is not seen. There's no political power. The only power that was given to you last time you agreed was the savage treating you right by saying, I'm going to be civil
If we
with
put our
you.
money together and
Hey,
sell
yo,
the
General,
aircraft
relax. Come
carrier
on.
and docked it in Monrovia, would you be happy? Because Monrovia is the only port that can carry
Yo,
Bro,
calm
yeah,
down.
material.
you high,
Relax.
So
bro.
we get an aircraft carrier. African Americans get an aircraft carrier and dock that bitch over in
Let him
Monrovia.
finish. Let
Would you
him
say we
finish,
got some
Dave.
power?
Dave.
Well, he froze.
I'm asking you, would that be power? Would
But
you
I
want
was
to see
talking
that?
to Volvo, and you just give me a sec, all right? I just want to have a little dialogue with Volvo.
Here's the thing: when you say is not respected, when we say when you hold on, brother, because he just threw me off. You said
Yeah,
that,
I made you think, boy.
bro, you high and drunk, bro. Go to a bar or something. Like it's Friday. Go to a bar. If you don't get high and drunk, well, nothing. Here's the thing, right? Yeah, we brought forth civil rights. That's political power. There's we have to protect. We don't have our own country where we're 90% of the population. We have to participate in this American system. There's black mayors, senators, judges, councilmen, whatever you can think of. The mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, is black. He took the American Rescue Plan money,
Atlanta too,
and he's rebuilding the city of Cleveland.
I'm
He's taking
aware
the
of all
money
these
that
things,
he,
but
that's what he's
that's not
supposed to do.
power.
That's not
Position.
that's not power, bro. That just means somebody white people gave you that position.
When you
That's not
say
power.
power, what do you mean power? Because
Okay,
y'all
okay, okay.
asking
Here,
a
here, here, here,
mad
here. I'll
question.
give you an example. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
What's something that black people could do in America that no other race can do? Like
Music,
Asians,
Hold on,
can't
wait.
do it.
Listen,
football,
Asians can't do it.
basketball,
Mexicans can't do it. Black people,
singing.
white people can't do. What's something that you
this
could do
that
there that
that
we?
that wouldn't be American. That's not the goal.
No, but
Y'all
that's
y'all
power.
leaving over.
But that's
Y'all
power.
going
That's
over here.
power. Right now, if I go to
Listen to what I'm
Saudi
saying.
Arabia,
Listen.
if I go to Saudi Arabia and I'm speeding, and then they catch me, I go to jail, whatever. If a Saudi
Everybody goes
person
there. They
did
wouldn't
that,
have speed
hold on, hold on,
signs,
hold on, hold
bro.
on.
Man,
But if a
that's not
Saudi,
power. That's not
Oh,
power, bro.
that's
see,
political
You
power.
Bobo,
That's
making up
political
Bobo,
stuff.
you don't
power.
know how to answer that question. This
One
is
mic,
That's
one
actually
mic.
a
political
very
power.
simple
That's
answer.
political
Man,
power.
This
y'all
is
You
a
know
not
what?
this is a
y'all
very
asking
simple
bad
answer.
I
questions.
really
Here's
want
the
to talk to
go.
Vovo.
Here's the
I
go.
really
Here's the
want to
go.
talk to
Here's the
Vovo.
go.
I'll
Here's
wait,
the
and
go
then
as
I'll
an
answer it
American,
after you, Bobo.
as an American, somebody that
Vovo,
didn't flee their country. Hold on, wait.
Vovo.
Here's the go. Listen, and you might understand.
All
The
right.
goal is to have liberty and justice for all.
Who's the all?
I don't listen to what I'm telling you. I don't want to be able to do nothing that can't nobody else do. I want
What?
to be treated fairly across the board. If I fuck up,
But
I
you,
should get the
but
same
you don't
punishment
get
as a white.
you don't get
All right, is that
treated
your
fairly.
answer, Bobo? I got a real simple answer. It's real fast.
Go on, General.
All right. I bet you won't walk 20 blocks talking mess about African Americans in any urban city. I bet you won't. Now, that's
Talking what? Talking what?
anything negative about them, and that's power.
Okay, General. If I go
Man,
into
this
any hood,
nigga weird.
General, General, where you at?
Can I jump in, bro? Can I jump in?
Oh, hold on, Zero. Give me 1 sec. Vovo, if I go into any black
I bet you
neighborhood,
won't.
if I go into any black neighborhood, right? All
Right.
the convenience stores.
No.
close
I'll
at-
give you $100.
Give me 1 sec, bro.
Bro,
You can make
hey,
it 20
chill,
blocks in any
chill, bro.
American
Yo, that
city.
gets you
Take him
smoke.
You
down,
out
bro.
here
Must
You
be
talking
nice,
like
right?
this
taking
in
the
front of
conversation.
luxury housing, in front
I
of your
said his
fake
smoke must be
luxury
nice. Okay,
apartment, bro.
Vovo,
Stop
Relax.
asking bad faith questions, bro.
I'm
If
asking,
you
is
go to
that power?
okay, hold on. Let him.
Vovo, let
He's
me
gonna
ask
talk
you
about
something.
the foreigners having businesses in our.
Hold on.
We've been
Hold on,
cheated.
Vovo. Let me ask you a question.
But can
You're
you
not being
ask it
treated
fast,
fairly.
bro?
You're
Can
not
you ask it
being treated
fast, bro? I
fairly.
understand your English is not that great, but come on, man.
You're not being treated fairly,
My English is
Volvo.
not that great. I never said it was.
Well, here's the thing though.
I just want to ask
This
you a
struggle
question.
isn't over yet.
Hold on.
Y'all looking for y'all. Listen,
Can I
bro.
jump in? Can I jump
Let
in?
me just ask you a question, Vovo. Right? It has to do with what General was saying about if I say it. So I'm saying if I come into your hood, it's a
Right.
black neighborhood, and
Right.
I see all the convenience stores owned by Arabs and Chinese and all that. I say, yo, you guys
What are you
don't
talking
control
about?
your neighborhood.
Arabs took Egypt from y'all, the whole
Oh,
North. Arabs got all
Bro,
y'all.
well, let me answer this, bro. Can you
Yeah.
please shut up,
hold
bro?
on.
Listen to what I'm telling you. You saying the
Y'all
businesses and all
supposed
that
to
is
be, y'all
controlled by
supposed to be tuck pointing the pyramids. Y'all
listen
like
to
the
what I'm saying.
cold.
Holy shit.
Bro,
Man, my
let
goodness,
Volvo
bro.
speak, bro.
Man,
Let
you
me
can't
just
chill.
just
Listen.
ask the question.
Well,
Right?
no, I know what you about to say. Let me hurry up before
Let
he
me
comes back.
finish anyways. Patience, right? If I analyze all these things and I say you don't control your neighborhood. All these other people control all your resources. When you get the money, right? You make a lot of money, like you guys are saying. We make money. When you make all that money flows out your hands and go into another group of people's hands, and they use that to fund their neighborhoods and educate their children. Again, the small hats people, right?
Oh, you saying I'm
Hold
poor?
on, bro. Before we get in the small
You
hat,
saying I'm
All right.
poor?
I was just going to show you the
oh,
power
man.
they have,
Oh, that's what you said. You
and
said I'm
your
poor.
numbers,
I
your
get it now.
numbers
Finish
exceed
this. Now, let me say this.
I
those
get it now.
people.
You should have
Let me
just said
say
that
this.
in the
Let
beginning.
me say this.
Vovo,
I
hold
know
on.
that y'all got this
All
weird
the
obsession
groups,
with us.
your number
Let
exceed
me
them, but they
finish.
have more power than you.
Okay, all right, cool, whatever. Listen to what I'm saying. They work in the neighborhood. That's what they do. They provide a service for us. They miserable in them corner stores. They got to service their enemy
Vovo,
every day.
man.
When they, hey, if I go in the Arab corner store and I say make me a sandwich, the Arab gonna make me a sandwich. 7 on pump 3 and give me 2 pieces of chicken. Niggas don't want no corner stores. To be honest with you, you don't want the headache of a corner store.
Well,
Nah,
can I say something, bro? Can I say something,
hold
bro?
on, wait. Let me finish. So
He
they
don't
work
think
for
that
us.
people got 401ks and
They
stocks
can't even
and weed and stuff.
they can't
Like,
even
this
stand
guy
in
is a
like their own
lead, bro.
business. They
Why
don't they
why
take
can they
all
stand
the
in front
main
of
roles to that business and they go in there and work. No, they got a high paying job, but they still work in there. They work in the black
but do you
community.
understand why they are in those
Nah,
dangerous places?
guys, we gotta close out. We can always do a part 2. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe.
Peace.
The next time, family. Dynasty Mir search for Haru. Peace.
Appreciate you.
Oh, let me read this last super chat. Black Jack 38 thank you for the $4.99 holla. Negro, just a commercial term for Africans being sold on the slavery markets. Both words are one and the same. Stop it with the pseudo history.